Vous êtes bien chez Julien Fournier Rock Couture. Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
Just about time for us to get back into the action for the Americas Elite League. Imperium is speedering right now. He's going super fast right there. Look at that. I'm going faster than the sound himself. My name is Maxman. Going to be a host / caster for today, and Imperium's going to be with me right now. Imperium, how are you doing?
I'm in normal speed. I think I'm in normal speed. Am I?
My man keeps running casting. I don't know.
Myself. I was like the Flash for a sec. I was just...
I had my super intro ready, and I was just like, what's happening over there? Something interesting is going down. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Everyone, welcome back to the Americas Elite League. It's good to have you back. It's good to have some action coming your way once again on the western side of the world for some SA/NA PUBG Mobile Esports action. And man, day 4, or as Imperium likes to say, is week 2. Day 2, technically. Okay, we get it. It works also. Not gonna lie, Imperium, the last few days of action have been absolutely insane. If we're even just remotely close to that level of play today, I'm going to be super stoked about these games.
Yeah, I've been doing a couple of tournaments simultaneous to this, such as the PMPL Arabia, and I just finished one in between kind of starting this. And the America's Elite League is on a different level from an aggression standpoint. It's on from a team's 0 Fs. On one hand, it's hella entertaining to us. Hella entertaining to us and the viewers. On the other hand, it doesn't leave that much to desire from a strategical, from a really getting under the thick of how these teams are really playing standpoint.
Yeah,
I think that we see a little bit more stability today. I doubt it, because we have Erangel and Sanhok only, so it's going to be probably another crazy day.
I was about to do my intro initially was going to be every day is a gift except today because we have double Sanhok. But you know what? It is going to be a gift for one team that is Imperium, and that's going to be the boys of VIVO Keyed. They were the, and you called them like this, and I'm gonna use your own words, Imperium, the kings of Sanhok, the kings of the jungle, because he got himself the 2 chicken dinners on day 3 of this tournament of the Americas Elite League. Right off the bat, it was really, really impressive stuff. Not able to quite get the 3rd, so you know what, could have been a little bit better, but still they were really close to greatness. And VIVO Keyed currently standing in that 2nd place, only 3 points shy away from that 1st place. That currently is under the helm of Alpha 7. You're still going to have that fight for 1st place. It was insane in day 3, and I'm hoping it's going to be even as good in this next day.
Yeah, and this kind of day massively suits VIVO Keyed from a statistical standpoint coming into today's games. They have an average of 23.5 points per game on Sanhok. The next nearest team to them, to give even bigger context, is Nova with 12.8. So they're nearly double the points per game average compared to their nearest rivals. And to give a bigger context to VIVO Keyed specifically, Erangel 11.8, Miramar 3 points per game. So clearly Sanhok is their kind of, it's their superpower, you could say. So I'm expecting pretty good things from VIVO Keyed today.
Imperium, do you allow me to ruin everything you've just said right now? Do you allow me to do so? I don't want to do it without your consent because I think that it is a little bit brutal. If you check out the groups, they're only playing one Sanhok today. They're missing out on the other because they are Group B. So, you know what? The Stummers are still very impressive, but they're not going to play both. So, unfortunately, they only have the potential of taking one chicken dinner on Sanhok if they go the entire way. But it is still a really valid point you made there with their stats are very, very impressive. But I think that before the show even started, we were talking about other teams. And, of course, we're talking about second place. We have to talk about first place, right? And Alpha 7, in their own regard, has got some insane stats. You said on Miramar, not in Miramar today, but we're going to have a lot of Miramar left in the rest of this America's Elite League. So you know that they're going to get some big points on that map once more.
Yeah, and of course, in the typical Alpha 7 way, they've also had more of their points come from eliminations rather than placements. 97 elimination points, which is a good 23 ahead of their nearest rivals. So I expect much the same. The really positive thing about Alpha 7 is that they've been strong across all maps. Again, it's not massively important when you mention Miramar because Miramar isn't played in today's games, but it is something to highlight. It is something to point out in terms of what makes them globally strong as a team, is that they are dangerous on every single one of these maps. So again, a little bit like VIVO Kid, I expect the same from Alpha 7.
Yeah, of course, we're talking right after about our top teams. We're going to look at the overall rankings at one point so we can go even more in depth in terms of where the teams are currently positioned and how things could work out for the rest of the day. But I want to mention potentially a few teams at the bottom here, especially in terms of gameplay that we want to see very clear improvements from Imperium before we go to rankings. One of those being the Chosen NA. And with that comes one question from me to you. That question is, and you know exactly where I'm going, Imperium. You know exactly, okay? We casted together for like 5 years now almost. You know exactly what question I'm going to make. Are we still going to see hot drops from the Chosen in apartment for literally because there's no reason. They won the fight once, okay? There is no reason for them to go for it. Do you think they're still going to commit and be super, super abrupt about that? Or are they going to finally change things and try different approaches?
Fortunately, I think they will. I don't want them to, but unfortunately, I think they will. Because right now, you can see as we move into the overall rankings, they're down in 20th place. And not even by a small amount. It's not like they're 1 to 2 points behind 19th. They're 25 points behind 19th. That's ridiculous. Like I said, they're kind of one of they're probably the blueprint of what I mentioned, that this tournament at times is leaving nothing to bite into from a strategical standpoint, nothing to really get your depths and massive thought into, because the Chosen, especially in Erangel, just constantly hot dropping.
Yeah, and when I'm looking at Rise in 6th position, which had a really good, they have a good tournament so far. Like, I'm thinking in my head, 50% of their eliminations come purely from the Chosen. Like, just feeding every single time.
Well,
literally, Rise are not playing a Battle Royale, they're playing a MOBA right now. They're just farming CS in a park.
Well, yes and no. They actually haven't benefited from their fights against the Chosen, even though they've won the majority of them, because Erangel is actually their weakest map between Erangel, Miramar, and Sanhok in this tournament so far, with an average of 6.2 compared to 12 and 12 on the other two maps. So yeah, technically they've been free kills onto the Chosen, but Rise definitely haven't benefited from the hot drops. Yeah,
talking about kills, eliminations, we have to say this, Imperium. Alpha 7 almost about to hit the 100-point bomb in terms of eliminations alone. They're so far ahead of VIVO Kid currently is the second top fragger of the lobby. That is absolutely nuts. And the fact they've been able to do it in just such a small amount of games, what is that? So 12 games, almost 100 frags. You very rarely see stats as impressive as that, but the fact over almost 12 games here, they've been able to almost remain at a just below 10 elimination average per game is insane for me to think of. So it just goes to show that Alpha 7, not only did they come into this tournament as a clear favorite, right, Imperium, they've also just truly made the statement that, yes, in fact, we are a favorite for a reason. We went to PMGC, we have all this international experience that very little teams in this lobby currently have, and they just use it to their full advantage to take the fights, take the positions, and get, what was that, a 20 elimination bomb they had with Carrillo at the end there in one of the first games on the day one. Like, that's just how far ahead of the competition they currently are, and they're showing no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. I do want to highlight Nova though, Max. 139 points,
Yeah.
up into 4th place. What really impressed me about Nova is that every single one of their games in day 3 was over 10 points. 13, 12, 13, and 23. You couldn't ask for better consistency. And for a team that at times, especially last year, looked quite volatile. And yeah, okay, they dropped a little bit, such as day 2, they only got 20 points in total. I have to give them massive respect, and I do think they found a lot more of their feet. They found a lot more of their flow and their energy and their momentum, and just as a team, they found a much stronger balance. And I'm hoping that continues today. If it doesn't, obviously we'll see them drop down. But considering the day they had on day 3, I really want to see that continuation of more consistency and obviously stronger points within that consistency from Nova.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about consistency and things repeating over time. One thing that I do not want to repeat over time, Imperium, is going to be what's been happening for Delta Stars. Sure, they're in 12th position. No, it's not a bad position, especially after already 3 days of play, 12 games, 12 games worth of points here that they currently have with 75 total. It's not that bad, but when you're looking at how they play these games, and we stated this, I think, at the very start of the tournament, almost like start of day 2, we said it. This team is really good when it comes to macro. They get in really strong positions, but unfortunately, they don't go out there to pressure other teams around them. And we saw that especially on that Sunhawk game, right, where they were in a super pivotal position, controlling, I'm going to say AF, okay? They were like in the best position you could ask for. And unfortunately, not willing to go for those pushes and then just let himself overwhelmed. And it reflects in their numbers, right? Because they have, what was it, 55 placement points and 20 eliminations. We need to see the aggressive Delta Stars. If you're aggressive and you have good positions, which they already proved they can do, this is a team that could very easily rise to the top. It's just, they need that little click, and it hasn't happened quite yet.
I'm really glad you mentioned Delta Stars. The stats in their performance of games also doesn't lie individually. Every single day, they've only had 1 positive result, maximum 2 when they had a day 1. So it shows that the volatility of their result is mainly down to their playstyle right now, to how the fact that they're allowing other teams to control them. And I do hope that they find their aggression, they find their control across the games today. Looking into top kills though, I think we can safely be unsurprised at the fact that it's Adrian from VIVO Keys. It's the glasses, man. We mentioned it previously. It's all about them glasses.
Look, story time, Imperium. I got my glasses, what, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and I felt very self-conscious because I didn't like myself with glasses. Adrian is the first person that's making me feel like, you know what? I think I'm pretty cool with glasses now. Look at this guy. Look at this dude. Man, now I feel proud of wearing glasses. If I can become that good, hopefully. I mean, probably not, because I'm me, unfortunately. But regardless, Adrian has been having some of the most impressive plays. If you go back to that, I think it was the first Sanhok game that they won. This guy was lasering down 99% of the lobby, so Adrian definitely a very impressive play. He has another player of his team. I didn't have time to catch the name there, but you have 2 players of VIVO Key that are up there that are absolutely dominating right now. And a point that I'd like to reiterate, and that we mentioned at the very start of the tournament after they had a very strong start, this is a team that I personally did not know. And the fact that they are so close to Alpha 7, which is a team with this huge amount of experience, this backlog of huge tournament and great results, and yet they're just 3 points away, goes to show to me that this is a team that is in their infancy when it comes to PUBG Mobile Esports. Give them time. These guys could go right to the moon, make it to PMGC. I'm sure about it, because their gameplay is buttery smooth.
And I'm making a bit of a bold statement here. I believe that they've performed better than Alpha 7.
Insert YouTuber thumbnail here. Oh my god, Imperium said what? What is going on?
So the context behind that is, I believe that the games that they've controlled and the games that they've done well in, they've applied a lot more strategical depth behind their positioning, behind their communication, behind how they're maneuvering and controlling that late game. Of course, Alpha 7 have clearly done well, but I think there's been a little bit more we shoot, we kill, we take game from Alpha 7, which is working for them, whereas I think there's a lot more thought process behind how VIVO Key have played their games and won their games. Of course, they're still struggling on Miramar, which they honestly will need to get their act together if they're going to hold on to Alpha 7. But for the time being, that statement I'm sticking to.
Okay, I think that's a very interesting statement, and we'll see if Alpha 7 can change it up after this Alpha 7. Do they really need to do a lot more when it's not PMGC? I don't know. It's been working out so far, but I think that there's definitely some things that they can work on. They're taking a little bit of a chill time coming into this, though. They're definitely going to have a chill game one because they're not playing. So Group A is going to be out of the picture for this first game on Erangel. All the rest of the teams of Group B, C, D, and E will be playing out in the first game. But one thing that's cool is what that means, because of how the schedule of maps are going to go today, that we're going to be looking at Group B, Group D, avoiding one Sanhok each. So Delta Stars, Lotus Esports, Nova, XSET, Keed, VIVO Keed, ATON Esports, BULUC, CHABTAN, and Black Dragons are going to have every single Erangel games, and those are the maps where normally you should be at your best. So I'm hoping that some teams like Black Dragon, Lotus, XSET that's been having some up and down tendencies can capitalize on the fact they're playing 3 Erangels today.
And even I'm looking at a team such as ESTORM, who have only 2.8 points per game in the Erangel games that they played. I know I've pulled out a lot of numbers across today's pre-show and before today's games. I do tend to be a bit of a number guy, and at the end of the day, like, for the most part, the stats don't lie in that regard, and it does help build that narrative. ESTORM are weak on Erangel, so I want to see that improvement. And hell, on a side note, they're also weak on Sanhok, so I need to see that step up from ESTORM specifically, as well as obviously the Chosen.
Yeah. I'm also somewhat of a numbers guy. How many of you guys believe that in chat? Tell me. I would love to see. Okay. With that said, Imperium, it's time for our first game of the day. As I said, we're going to go to Erangel. So Group A, not going to be playing this one out. That's Alpha 7, Honored Souls, ESTORM, and the Chosen not playing this game. So Rise, unfortunately, no easy frags at the start of this one. I'm sorry, you're going to have to find it out a little bit to get a few elimination points this time around. Otherwise, things have not changed too much with this playing path. Maybe putting away a few drop locations that some teams like to go to. I'm thinking on Milta, the Lipovka position, which normally Alpha 7 like to have those little hot drops in. But here, they have... well, they're not even here this time around, but there's not going to be any teams trying to aim for that eastern coastline because there's no need to. There's a lot of secondary drop locations to aim for, so things should be just fine at the start of this game, especially with that phase 1.
Yeah, phase 1 complements the playing path. It is on that western side of the map. A little bit of water in play, about 10-15%. You have the river as well. On a side note, I love the fact that I mentioned a team that isn't in this game, ESTORM. Good job, Imperium. You're really good at what you do. Nice one. Nice one. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Team Queso going for a split drop between Ferry, Pier, and Primorsk. I've been very impressed with Team Queso's growth across the tournament so far. Day 1 was a big struggle for Team Queso, 7 points. They followed up with 45 in day 2. Day 3 was definitely a little bit weaker, where they had one big result of 22 points, but it was floundering in between, and they ended up with 37. Right now, they're 9th, so they're kind of middle of the pack, but I see they're trying to pull out. I see their potential. I see their aggression and their strengths. They just need to kind of put it together a little bit better, take inspiration or influence from the likes of VIVO Keed, who seem to be able to look a bit more composed and together after coming into the mid game. And I think we could see a lot more powerful Team Queso throughout the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I think Team Queso, I'm really happy you brought it up, Imperium, because I have the impression that when you look at all these teams in the lobby, and there's a lot of teams that we criticize, because I think that that's what these tournaments are great for, is to see potential growth from teams. And when you look at the entirety of this tournament, I think this is the team that has shown the most growth. Every single time they encountered a situation, I have the impression they learned from that situation, and the next time they encounter something, maybe not the exact same situation, right, but something at least similar, they build upon that. If I want to bring up an example here, I would think back to, that game in Miramar, I think it was day 2, where they got a 2nd place versus Alpha 7, and Alpha 7 took the game, and they were super controlling at the end. And unfortunately, Team Queso were a little bit slow to respond to that and take control, and unfortunately, off the back of that, were not able to win the game. And then you look back on their chicken dinner they got on the 3rd day. There was an Erangel game. There was game 2, if I'm not mistaken. They come into that game And when they moment, they know, okay, we can actually go for chicken dinner. Boom, spread, push out, take control. Don't allow teams to take advantage on you. That's a complete day and night comparison we saw in that last game. So I just think it's a very interesting dichotomy we had between those two plays. So I agree. Basically, all of that to say, yes, Imperium, you did a good point. Yes.
I love how you use specific in-game examples. I obviously clearly use the stats of the results, and you use two specific in-game examples. Absolute bang on stuff, my friend. Looking at where these teams are going to set to position themselves in this phase. Normally, I would say it's not really massively important phase one, but I think with this kind of circle, when you have the river in play, the cube compound outside of the outside of North George, a massively important part of this phase one. One of the Nova players already there. Everest, which we see Delta Stars off the back of their split drop in Gaka, go there, and I know that we've seen it be a bit of a favorable spot for a couple of teams, and even the very northeast of Roshawk, northwest, my apologies, where BULUC are. Those are, in my eyes, the three kind of core areas of this phase one to begin with. You can set those positions up. You can play a little bit more strongly, grab more information, and play that into phase two and phase three.
Yeah, Delta Star pulling the Delta Star, I guess I would call it, going to Everest, which is their pretty usual rotation. Just got to be careful, it is contested. We've seen some back and forth fights happen there, but I think that they've also improved in that aspect of defending Everest, so they're making sure they don't do the same mistakes in that kind of position, so that's a good improvement at least. But yeah, I agree with your point also. Going for the cube position for Nova is very good. They're sending Zifan out there to scout that spot out. Boom, was free, we're going to go for it. But actually, I find it very fun because the Nova, as I said, this is my first time on the first day. I casted some NA/SA tournament, and if there's a player, not one of the top teams, right, even though Nova are currently in 4th place, but I've been genuinely impressed with Koi and Kindness. I don't know what you think personally, but Koi and Kindness have kind of surprised me in the sense that they are really aggressive when the time is right, and they take some really good positions, like their sight lines are really strong. So yeah, there you go. Little heads up to Kindness and Koi, because I think that they are two players that I'm like, okay. I want to see more of these guys. They're very impressive.
I don't disagree, but I suppose my focus on Nova has been more overall as a team, that it hasn't been that individual massive flair. I also have a little bit of maybe a little bit more of a standard when I'm looking at Nova. Okay. Maybe it's because they follow the same name as the current 2-time global champions, and I know for a fact they do have former PL players in their team, and they've had that influence for years. And maybe it's also based off the fact that we haven't had an NA team compete on the very, very top end of global stage in 2 years. So yes, I get what you're saying, and I see your point, but I'm also like, I'm complimenting them, but I'm also holding myself back until they continue to show that, not through this tournament, but throughout the whole of 2022.
Okay. I think that's a good one. As a whole, yes, their team has been very impressive, right? The squad plays have been really good. Yeah. But you know what? Imperium has a very high standard. We understand it now, guys. Okay, so Imperium, I guess, casting with me, you don't even want to cast with me. I'm too low level now. You want to move on. Okay.
No, I can never not cast with you,
Cool,
go! Oh my!
I'm like the perfect Sundero, but in cast form.
You gonna wave your white flag all of a sudden?
Whoa! Yes, I will probably do that.
You walked into that one.
You know what? Yeah, I did. I like it. That's why I like doing desk with Kalaris and Jason. Also, I like getting like a punching bag. It's cool.
You like getting double team?
Moving on. Look at that drop. That was a good drop. That was Influence Rage. They're dropping in there. Yasnai Polyana. Really good. But Lazarus are moving by. You've got to be careful. And Koi, play that. Like I'm trying to completely change subject. Koi, they got a few shots in the distance, though he's on a pretty good angle. And normally this angle, I would say, in Pyramid is very, very scary to hold on solo, but look at the rest of his team. And you mentioned their team prowess, right? They got one player on the other side of the bridge down south. So literally the off angle, the weak point of where Koi is already defended by his teammates. So he can defend that exact bridge line without any issues in mind. So I really like it. It's normally a setup that teams do mistakes upon, but here was played just very simply and very efficiently.
And I love the fact that he didn't hang around for too long. One issue we often see from players is that they're stubborn with how they're actually hanging around, and they'll stay where they are for too long, and that's when they kind of get caught out at times. I also need to kind of highlight why BULUC kind of committed so deep into this phase 1 on the western side. Where they were on that northwest of Rozhok, I highlight it as a good place to be because it set yourself up. Maybe sending one player more towards kind of shooting range hill. Yeah, the whole team going so west in this phase 1, it kind of doesn't really make sense to me. And as phase 2 kind of, it does center up north a bit, and it makes it a little bit more tricky for these teams. I still don't get why BULUC have kind of committed to that western side, because now they're surrounded by 4 to 5 to 6 teams compared to 1 or 2 at max.
Yeah, it could be a little bit overwhelming for them. Hopefully they're going to be just fine though. We'll see. Here you go. Koi going to be able to get himself his first knock this time around with the trusty Scar, which I believe is using a PMG season, which is sick. But as you know me, Imperium, if I want a skin, I'm not going to get it. And there's a cool Jujutsu Kaisen collab, but I'm not going to get it. I know it. It's not going to happen. Rise on the move, trying to make it inside the compound. They will get there in time. There's only one player, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for them, but there's a big issue for INCO. They're so far taking the L. What the hell is Deuce doing up here?
Oh, damn.
Sneaky, sneaky guy on Furious Gaming. I'm going to get one easy knock.
But why are Furious Gaming committing to South George Crate so early in the game? What are these rotations? It's so silly to me, Max.
We're back to day 1. It's all happening over again. Nethos, though, has got to be careful pushing in. He knows exactly where he is. The easy pre-fire from him. And that's going to be the second frag of the game. Unfortunately, they got one player knocked. One player also killed out of the game. So down to 2. And you know that we're seeing where the circle is right now 50-50 split on the river. Crates could have a lot of eyes looking in their direction. So they've got to be careful on their next move, because if a team decides to third party and you do not have the numbers, things could get very dicey on your side.
Like, nobody's on shooting range hill. Nobody's by the airplanes a little bit southwest of shooting range hill. Nobody's on that absolutely beautiful compound that's to the east of shooting range hill, just a little bit southeast, where you're able to control the hills around it as well. Everybody's towards a dead center, not even a good dead center. It's like they're stuck, they're grounded there. So if the next shift, and again, this is only phase 2. Why are you committing so deep to the center so early? I need to continually point that out. Delta Stars sticking on Everest is great. Fair play. Props to them. It gives them a good exit strategy. ATON as well. Team QUESO. Black Dragons. Gotta give those props, as well as the beautiful spread that XSET have in towards Headshot Hills and on the southeastern side of the circle. It's fantastic to see. But so many other teams are just deep for no reason.
I want to go back on what you mentioned about especially shooting range position and the good compounds around that spot. I would disagree on teams going there, but I'm thinking, why are teams not on the west of Rozhok? Because you want to be close to the river, right, to facilitate that rotation, which is why so many teams are.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
But Rozhok west, why is that so free? You got Sunken City, you got the little compound up to the north of that. It could be so good. Okay, with this circle, it would maybe not be that good. Furious Gaming, though, going to be swiped out of all of Crates and George Bowl instantaneously, losing that fight to Ints. Really good push from them. But now things are going to get dicey. Everyone's going to go for the full-on rush. And I'm looking at Delta Stars, and what scares me a little bit, even though they are a team that's normally really good to macro, is that are they going to be willing to go for a fight if they need, which might happen very soon. So Delta Stars, I need to see a commitment at some point. Maybe not now. If you can find a building that's free, that's great. But in these circles, they're going to have to push. They're going to have to fight eventually.
In my opinion, if I were them, I would have stayed on Everest and focused on grabbing a couple of eliminations from teams rotating around Everest. I think it would have allowed them to fare off a little bit better. I get that phase 3 is a pretty strong commitment towards George Bowl, either north or south. But and it is to an extent horrible, but there's no guarantee. Like, you look at VIVO Keed. Right, VIVO Keed are in South George. It's actually the position that they came second from, where they pushed across and they were able to wipe both Furious Gaming and Alphas and Team QUESO, should I say? they have a 2-2 split. They're much better prepared for a big phase 4 up north, whereas Delta Star is committing to crates with no real information. One of their players has gotten knocked. It's so unpredictable around this area, and now they're in quite deep without any real plan B.
Yeah, that could be the issue, though. Yeah, that cross is not going to happen. I would be genuinely surprised if all they get the res, but Rise are right behind them. There's another team crashing inside. Too much is happening inside of crates, and that's the issue, right? When you have too many teams inside of crates, every little corner that you have not spotted and scouted out could be your downfall. And that's what you got to see potentially coming out from Delta Stars, is being a little bit more wary of how these positions actually play out. The Delta Stars are going to be looking too good for them. A lot of players are currently getting knocked in the elimination feed. You got to be careful of how things are panning out. Good nade on Delta Stars, and that's it. Delta Stars, I believe, just got taken out of the game, and that's indeed the case. 15th place for them. And as you said, the unfortunately uneducated call of them to make into George Paul crates was their downfall at the end.
I don't even agree with XSET pushing in as well as Rise Mythic. Gonna peek on through and say peekaboo, I see you, and initial knock onto XSET. Now, a couple of the other XSET players have at least joyfully gone to the compound that's across the road. It's much more exitable per se. It's still not the safest place to be. It was the position in which INCO won that game when we did see crates finish, or just outside of crates finish in one of the Erangel games. So we'll have to see if that works out for XSET. Up and towards the northern side in North George, Lotus have that northwestern edge in which INTZ are looking to breach on through. We'll have to wait and see how the North American side react with that. BULUC still inside the dead center, North George. Last remaining Lazarus player is now outside the circle on the north and north, as it's going to be an eastern shift.
That shift, though. That was 100% textbook normally going to be a city finish, and it's like, nope. Over to the east we go. East George Bowl, you're done. Only crates is really in play, plus northern side of the river, a tad where you currently have BULUC CHABTAN, you got Nova, you got also side of Loops, and I believe what is the last play of Lazarus right now, so things are going to be pretty tricky for teams that are going to try and rotate late, but there's still opportunities if you strike and scout things properly. The Rise, I love how they play their position, though. You've got to be careful. We said if you don't scout your position, it could be your downfall. J-Way waiting in the side, does get one. Can he get the double? Gets spread in time. Nice attempt, but unfortunately not enough. Noon's going to confirm that one swiftly and quickly. 5th kill for them. XSET now going to go for the full-on breach. They want to get vengeance for their fallen teammate of J-Way, but only kill switch remains. Can the clutch master make things work out? Gets the info, peeks over with the UMP, but unfortunately almost out of bullets. Gets flanked on the side by INTZ.
Okay,
And that's the end of the side of XSET, eliminated in 12.
INTZ waited. They struck like a venomous snake, but they still have to deal with Rise. Are they going to allow Rise to get the revives up in slow key, distracted by VIVO Keed, who pushed in from the South George buildings into the edge of crates in that western side? There's also another team joining in on mix, I believe, Black Dragons, now on this western cluster. So 4 teams all inside crates.
Well, I'm happy. Black Dragons, I said it many times, Ryan Pyram is a team that I want to see step up. They haven't done it yet. Might see if this first game of the day could be the one where they start to get themselves some juicy points. So far, they went into Rise's position. Rise has decided to push out himself a little bit closer to the center of the circle, facilitate further rotations if need be. So that's a good move from Rise. The thing is, a lot of teams are going to be right on their back, and this is a stressful position for Rise to hold on to. But if they hold on to it, it could be so worthwhile in terms of potential points to get later on in the game. So Rise, all the eyes are looking your way, but if you hold on, you could have one of the most insane games you've had so far.
By the way, there's one compound in the circle that nobody is at. It's a compound that's to the east of crates. Yeah. Nobody is there. I don't even know why anyone didn't go there in the last 2 circles. Never mind this one. It comes down to just teams being just a little bit kind of narrow-minded, a little bit tunnel vision. Oh, we must go center. We must stay there. It will continue to go center. No, there's so much kind of unknown about how these circle shifts at times that you just can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, Is what you mentioned earlier about Delta Stars maybe delaying their rotation from Everest. If they did, maybe that compound would have been theirs. You know, something to keep in mind. But at the end, these circles have been very unpredictable. And one thing that was very predictable was the downfall of Lotus in that play, because you are not going to survive where Loops currently stand. That is such a good position. You get also information on where BULUC, CHABTAN, Nova, and even Influence Rage are currently standing. So they have the perfect overview for now. The circle shifts south, loops, everything goes downhill so quickly, so then just be fully prepared to move away, because the odds are that circle is not going to be on their side in the next shift.
If loops have done their due diligence and have been able to scout in the right way, even if the circle, okay, does go west, what loops... actually, no, loops are a little bit screwed. It's the worst kind of circle shift they could have asked for. They're better off, in my eyes, waiting until the very last second to try and crash across that bridge onto the edge of the circle. The other option, they can go into the blue, through the bridge, and then try and drive on towards the southern edge of the circle. Either way, it's not going to be easy for them.
Bro, these games remind me of PMPL Western Europe, I swear to God. We're just playing a game of ping pong, left, right, and the team's like, oh, shit. You just calm down for a second, please. This is horrible for these teams, but you know what? Whichever team's able to get himself a win here has gone through absolute hell. But he's picked up his teammate. I think he got...
No, that's not his
second
that's
there.
His that's
oh, wait.
Opponent.
Oh, wait. Come on!
Yeah.
Don't do anything like that. I was like, wait, he's throwing his teammate. This is so wholesome. No, it wasn't. Complete opposite. I love... People are using it a bit more. It's fun.
Just one thing that I must compliment these teams on, they have been not shy of throwing the disrespect out there. The pan kills, the carrying your opponents. The disrespect is high from these teams, and I love to see it.
It's just also, compared to a pan or something, you know, it's pretty fast, pretty quick, pretty efficient. He'll just, it's 100% just BM through and through, and I love it. I live for this. Let's go. Low loops, as we said, circle, big chances are it's not going to go their way. Now they've got to deal with the bridge trolls of Influence Rage. But Influence Rage right now, unfortunately, by being so low below ground, not going to get maximal information input, so they're not sure what they're going to walk into in the next shift if they start moving away, and they started to split their forces to hopefully facilitate that next shift. It's going to be happening in Phase 6. So... It'll be tricky, but Loops right now do not really have the numbers for such a fight unless they take it down one by one. But Nova finally going to be on the move.
I like that Nova has somewhat left it a little bit late. They might be swinging around and looking for the fight against BULUC on the very edge of the circle. Influence, they have 1 to 2 players in the water swinging through. While Rise, they have a spread.
You're in such a position, the numbers are going to go down themselves. And that's what you have to do, wait it out. But unfortunately, they're going to go right into the open loving arms of BULUC, CHABTAN. And BULUC, CHABTAN are not scared to take this engage. That's 2 knocks instantly picked up, and they're starting to start their kill spree. Still some players on Nova around. You've got to be careful. You are not in friendly territory. Rise, still plus 3. Time to move around. The circle centers up on the side of Crates. There's a lot of flat terrain, though. Not many buildings to play around Imperium, so this circle is still pretty harsh. 50-50 split of buildings and 50% split of just pure, narrow, flat land. So basically 50% of the circle is not playable, but Elian Kid picking his own fight, and Marion is going to be there to back up his teammate, and that's going to be their 4th frag in this one as Nova get eliminated.
I know the teams have made these games pretty damn crazy, but I love the fact that I said I hope today's games are more, and then we have a South George Crates finish for game 1. You know, I have all the sympathy in the world overall for most of these teams. All the while, throughout all of this, Rise, who've been here, I believe, since Phase 2, are still going strong as a 3-person team.
Oh wait, Theus, he can... Oh, I love this. I love this so... You have no idea how much I love this Imperium.
That's a big risk, though.
It's a big risk, but I love it. Oh, this is great. Loops pushing out with a car, and unfortunately, we're not able to clear out the position inside the river, so they're showing their backs to a lot of teams, and even on the forefront, Rise are going to be taking that fight wholeheartedly, and nothing will come of it for Loops. Everyone is getting taken out, except for one single player that's still in the background, probably going to try and heal off because he knows that this push is almost impossible to pull off.
ATON, player knocked they're in a pretty decent position in one of the warehouses, the very southern edge of the circle. VIVO keyed a little bit to the west of them. They're trying to deal with INTZ along the way. Influence Rage have made their way across, by the way, on towards the northern side. They're probably going to take a fight against the majority of BULUC.
Oh, those windows are such a threat to these kind of warehouse positions. Check a second, never know. Could be a banger. Gets a little bit of damage done on the play of ATON. Though not going to be able to get the actual knock itself. It's fine, just want to try and use up the utility, use up their meds and everything before the push happens. But look, CHABTAN getting picked up one by one. They're trying to survive the river cross, but you just know, Imperium, that that is not how things are going to go down. Alien Kid on just a slither of HP.
Oh, no.
One bullet is all he needs, but he spots him out while he's going for the red, and he gets the backstab. Look, CHABTAN maybe coming back from the brink of death, but it's still another player, and he's getting spotted out. Little boy, or like big boy here, as he gets himself the final kill onto the side of BULUC CHABTAN. Eliminated in 8th, but 17 still remain. On the late circle like this is absolute madness.
He literally saw the vehicle drive into the water, and you go for the revive. Ah, it's a big, big throw. That's an spaghetti-o.
Oh, Mufasa, he's sending a few meatballs apparently through the window, and they do some real big boy damage. Right side to not fully commit though, and the circle, is it me or is it actually on the tower where Theus currently stands? Are you kidding me? Right now, is going to end on the heel off his right of crate. That nade!
He knows he's there.
I was going to fall back on Nicolas. Well, I was going to fall back onto it, but he's been spotted out. They're trying and get a nade up there because they know that guy's going to be an absolute pain in their side.
Matthews does get a knock with a nade. Oh no!
Oh no! You can't do this to me! I had so many hopes and dreams for this play. Mythic, though, going to go through the blue, go for the wide, rotate, try and surprise ATON. With an early fire. Go on the right side in a corner. Can he get the spray? He does it! And that's Rise getting himself 11 kills already, Imperium. And it's still 3 players strong. They could be gunning for their first chicken dinner of the day.
They would fully deserve it. They've been extremely proactive. They have not taken anything for granted. As we're down to our final 5 teams, Mufasa going up towards a crane. It's a big, bold move and might work out in his favor as INTZ down to 2 players.
Noon's also going to be climbing his way up the tower. Unfortunately, it's a tricky path to go through. Everyone is going to spot you out. If you're unable to dodge the bullets Matrix style, you are not going to make it to the very top. Rise and Fast are still there down below. Trying to wait it out, man. Black Dragons have been waiting things out, waiting for their moment of glory. And now they push out as a 4-man. Sure, not many kills to show for it just yet compared to the rest, but it's still an impressive feat nonetheless. Loops get taken out, was their final player, still able to heal off a bit, able to get 4th place, that's huge, but Rise, there you go, taking a fight, lose 1, instantly confirmed the wave by the side of Black Dragons. And Rise stand down as a solo player now.
I think going up the stairs towards the crane, you could call it the stairway to heaven, is the reason why Rise lose this game. It's giving the body control over the Black Dragons.
Easy nay that one. Is he in the same? Oh no, he's in the other side. He's right behind it. So luckily enough, Mythic will remain strong. Scissor waiting in the shadows, waiting in the background, maybe waiting for an unfortunate player to get spotted away. And Nicolas, he knows a player's right there, but he's not willing to peek it just yet. He doesn't know where the rest of the team is. It still has a 4-man, but there are still 3 players alive. Where are they? All of them, unfortunately, he does not know.
You might think there's 2 players in that, so even going as a duo has its risks, right? So I really respect that from Black Dragons. We know he's a solo on his own, but it's hard to track the kill feed at that point, right? It's hard to really know how many players is inside that crate.
Yeah, they have very, very little information. Is this a 3-man squad? Is it 3 solos? They just do not know, and that is what scares them the most. They're just not willing to push. Because they might just fall into the hands of a deadly alliance. Nicolas wanting to push up. They're moving around a bit, giving a lot of maximal information over to Netos and even Mythic. But Mythic is in a very good position. Can get the information super early if he's getting pushed. He's getting pushed, and Molly comes out, picks up 1, gets the double. Mythic out of nowhere gets the double frag. 13 kills, looking for the 14th, and he gets it, but trying to hide himself back into it. And now the man advantage has been lost for Black Dragons. Nicolas going to get peeked around the corner by Scissor. And his only talents remaining, down to a 1v1v2, and INTZ are back in the lead.
Oh my god, Mythic. Balls of steel. Absolute balls of
big.
steel.
Ooh, big damage from Mythic once more. He's not going to knock. A lot of audio cues. Talent spots out. He has information on where all of the players stand, but he hears the fight happening. He knows this is not a three-man team anymore. Can maybe use that mayhem to his advantage, to get the advantage for a split second to secure that win on this first game of the day. He's in a move, but he's not striking. This is giving a lot of confidence to INTZ that they should not be taken right now. They're assuming this position is free, but Talents is just waiting for his prime time to shine.
He's going to have to carry Black Dragons on his back. It's what Mythic did to the rest of his team earlier on.
Scissors position on the rooftop. They're not far enough to be able to get the peak, but Mythic gets it on the side. INTZ are able to make it happen. They've got to go for the res. Talent saw the knock. He knows this is a 1v1. You cannot let this chance pass you by. Unfortunately, he's too far away. Can get access to the top side of these crates, but can he do much more? Unfortunately, no. The res comes on through. The smoke is there. He gets the info for a split second, but does not strike yet. Goes for the jump shot. Misses the opportunity onto Nitos, and he tries to hide himself back to a corner. Early pre-fire. Talents, 35 bullets in the UMP. Perfect amount to pick himself a 1v2. Can he make it happen? Push at the same time. It's no room for mistakes. He peeks it behind him. You got to be careful. Talents is on a slither of HP. 2 more bullets is all he needs. You got to heal up. Be careful. Don't show yourself. You have to reload. Pushing it out. Try and confirm that kill if you can. No. Careful, man. The blue zone's right behind you. Talents, this is a lot of pressure. Can you deal with it? Can't heal up in time. You're going to have to go for the push, mate. There's nothing you can do, and INTZ wade in the sideways. And now it's going to be INTZ securing themselves the very first game of day 4 of the AEL.
One of the most exciting, action-packed, fantastic finishes to a game I've seen in a while. Mad props to INTZ, Black Dragons, and Rise. Yes, there was definitely a mistake made from Black Dragons, especially when it looked like they knew that they couldn't take risks on that inside that crate. But then they did, and they threw it in a big way. But INTZ in the end, they waited, they bided their time, and they got the chicken dinner.
I asked the question at the start of the day, is today going to be as good as what we had in day 2, day 3? It's even better. It's even better. That's all I can tell you right now. That was one hell of a way to kick off, okay, week 2, day 2 of the Americas Elite League. I'll say Imperium just for you. What a way to kick things off. But Rise, really, despite Rise not getting himself the chicken dinner, they were one of the first teams to commit to crate. And the way they were moving so proactively around those crate positions, giving positions over to team to then strike back after they got himself into position, moving away from positions because they knew that that was not the best position to play from, and then pushing as a 4-man squad. So many intricate, small details that just add up so quickly and just allow them to get such an absolute dominant performance. Sure, not a chicken dinner, but they sure deserve it, in my opinion, because that was one hell of a game from the boys of Rise.
Well, they nearly got the highest amount of points in that game, and I totally agree with you. 24 in total, 14 eliminations. You couldn't ask for a better effort inside the crates of South George. Black Dragons with 20, but of course INTZ with the 12 eliminations and the 15 points of replacement, 27. Even Loops putting up a fair fight, because that circle shifting towards crates on that west-hand side was the worst circle shift they could have asked for. Any other direction, and they would have had an easier job coming into the very late stages of the game.
Yeah, it would have made it a little bit easier for them. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Black Dragon, though, I wanted to see a strong result. They made it happen here. Get himself 8 total eliminations and 12 placement points to a total of 20 points in this very first game. Amazing things to see, because before this, Black Dragons won how many points exactly? They were standing on 44 points. So in one game, they've done almost half what they were able to achieve in 12 games. So good step up. Hopefully they can remain consistent in that regard and able to hold themselves at a better standard throughout today, though. I'm looking at the bottom Imperium. Delta Stars. It could have been great. It looked so good at the start, and yet they stumble super early on. I feel like this is a team that had so much potential, but unfortunately it just did not pay out at all as we expected.
Delta Stars are like me as a kid growing into an adult. So much potential when I was younger, and look what happened to me. Delta Stars play these games, right? you know, they start off great position in the first couple of circles and then they just full send it and it goes horribly wrong. It's sad to see, but they weren't the only team that made that mistake. Let's be fair, they weren't. I don't even like the fact that Rise did, but if you want a blueprint on how to play that, should you commit to somewhere like QUESO early, Rise is the blueprint for it. Delta Stars, followed by others, made those big mistakes and they paid the price.
And we're talking about Rise, man. We've got to talk about Mythic. Top in eliminations and top in also damage dealt. 2,308 damage, 11 frags in this one. My man carrying hard, but it could have been so much more insane, that ending there, if we had Theos at the top of that building actually not getting knocked. But I believe you can get knocked through the bars. I'm not 100% sure about that one, but I think that is definitely something that can cause your demise if you're not careful about it. And Cartozine in terms of assists being up there also. I mean, they had a really strong position, right?
Yeah.
But that circle, their friends. And Influence Rage, despite being very split, is still crossed is really hard to do. And even if you do cross the Riverside, you had Rise with the best position, that cross is not going to happen. I'm sorry, Loops, nice try, but that is just almost impossible.
Wait, is that Mythic with 11 eliminations in that game alone?
Yes.
Oh my god. That's ridiculous. I just realized that. I don't know why. Jesus, sweet Mary, mother of like, chill, bro. Give the others a bit of a chance. I'm a little bit mind blown at that. Take a bow, Mythic.
Oh yeah, he had his best game by far. I think one of the best games for an individual player. Maybe not what Kirill did on that 20 elimination game. I think that was maybe a little bit better, but
no, I'd say better
at least in terms of that was. I think that in terms of stats, maybe Kirill's play was a little bit better, but in terms of how he played it out, especially in what was a City Crates finish, I think that one wins the prize of the best individual player I think in the tournament so far. So very, very cool stuff from him.
Yeah.
Chief did not go out first in this game, so big improvement. He's been surviving a little bit longer. You know what? Big heads up to my boy Chief, my man stepping up big time. But we got to talk about the stats of INCO, of course. 12 eliminations total in this one, 11. Rez also, so they've been consistently taking fights, healing himself back up, getting back into the fight once again. They've been in and out every single time, and it's worked out great. No teams were willing to go for the push to commit and eliminate INCO, and at the end, that's what allowed them to survive, get himself back into position a lot of times, and to secure the win at the end.
Yeah, I can't argue with what they did across this game. Just one thing to continue to highlight, and I've mentioned it before, the utility usage from all of these teams across obviously the LATAM and the NA region is really good. They throw out some of the best utility, the most accurate utility, and it's not that they rely on it, they're just so damn good at it.
So damn good, but you know what's also going to be good? This break, don't move a muscle.
Bang, 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 bang. For the game, you know we got
flashes you love when you're hot couture. Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
Well, you get more than you bargained for, and we bargained for a good day, and we got an even better day in Imperium to kick off this 4th day of action for the Americas Elite League. It's been great stuff. Congratulations to INCO on the first chicken dinner of the day. But now things get very serious. It's Sanhok time, and Heat Stars are not playing it, so it's anyone's game, really.
Yeah, it is, and so I just thought that facial expression summed up.
Oh no, he's
what
done it to a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do it again. You didn't.
Anyway.
Cringe.
Okay,
Stop.
Sorry. Did I go too far? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So it's the negatives of being a boomer.
Okay, hey, look, ranking, woo, we love it. And we also know what we love is VIVO Kid able to overtake the boys of Alpha 7. Of course, because Alpha 7 were not playing that first game. It's only a 2-point difference. It doesn't really mean too much. But VIVO Kid still able to make and secure that first place for themselves. But if you're not looking at the rise of a team in particular here, you're looking at Rise Esports. They are still able to hold on strong to the top of the leaderboards. They were 6th before this game, now jumping into 5th position. It's a slow approach, but they had a very, very big point gap actually between himself and the teams above them. So the fact that they were to now close that gap, a few more games, and top 3 is just around the corner for them.
Influence Rage overall deserve a lot more credit than we both given them, in terms of, we mentioned obviously Alpha 7, VIVO Kid, and a couple of others for justified reasons, but I don't think we've shone enough of a light on Influence Rage. They've been overall incredibly consistent. Their points differential between eliminations and placements is overall pretty damn healthy, and when they've turned it up really well across the 3 maps. They're also looking pretty decent when you look at kind of averages per game. And yeah, I just think they deserve to be in 3rd in a big way. And they have another good result in this Sanhok. We could see them even overtaking Alpha and VIVO Key to get into 1st.
Yeah, I do feel bad for not talking about Influence Rage too much, but I also don't feel bad because if I had to compare Influence Rage to anything, is like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know it's good. It's just always, they just forget about talking about it because, like, oh yeah, peanut butter sandwich is always good. It's always going to perform really well. You're just always going to taste it. It's always going to be good. Okay, and that is Influence Rage for me because they always have good results. They always have good rotations, good fights. I can't complain. But you know what? Influence Rage in 3rd position. A very, very impressive approach for sure. I'm going to call them the peanut butter sandwich team for now. Though we still got some teams in Imperium that are at the bottom, and we want to see some changes, right? And I've got to be aggressive on some of the teams, though. I want to see some changes on their first game. I'm looking at ESTORM, seeing the Chosen. I need to see some change up, boys, because if we don't, it's going to start to get late. After today, we're at the 50% mark Imperium of the tournament, and to make a comeback and to jump up a lot of placement points when you're already so low, it is going to be a huge task at hand for these guys.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. As you alluded to, the fact that VIVO Kid are playing in this 2nd game of the day in Sanhok means that technically, if there's any game, any opportunity for those lower teams, such as LOTUS, such as the Chosen, to, you know, kickstart, even from a confidence standpoint, a bit of a rise up the rankings, it is this game. So you're dead right. It's a call to arms because we love supporting the kind of lower teams. We love seeing that kind of story of you know, I know kind of goes to the whole like kind of fairy tale story, you know, Cinderella stories. They call of a team that kind of struggles to begin with and then finds themselves and has this climb up the rankings. But we genuinely love that kind of stuff, and it's so easy to constantly support the winning teams. Jason Infinity, PMGC. But anyway, but you know, it's good to support the lower teams and give them at least our vote of confidence because it's genuine.
Yeah, I can't stop thinking of like Jason in his manoir, you know, in his castle, just like looking, was in an evil chair, you know, with a dog on his lap, and he's just taking notes like Imperium, not doing PMPL. Off the list. He's done. off PUBG Mobile.
Oh, I love Jason. He's so good. So good.
Yeah, trying to go back Imperium. I see Imperium. You know what? I also see this map of Sanhok, and I see future mayhem that's just about to happen, and things are going to get interesting. The Chosen, please no hot drop. I would generally appreciate that. It would be pretty cool. Though, playing path pretty central, going to be pretty easy for these teams to get easier access. But I'm thinking, are we going to be having our fight inside of good old boot camp? I'm seeing right now Alpha 7 drop in there. I can't quite see on the minimap, but I do think hot drop might be happening. I can't see quite enough. I think it is. But they're dropping on two different locations, actually. You got two players on the west and two players on the east. So they're going to get pinched here.
Yes, that's a bit of a weird drop from the XSET players. Spaghetti Polo G made a polo pog of a jump or a negative pog. I don't know, man. I was trying to make a pun. Leave me alone. I'm failing as hard as XSET are.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm seeing a DBS, and you know that when I see a DBS, my day just goes from 0 to 100, though. Peeks from behind, and he loses the fight. The DBS is kill switch. The man cannot be stopped. Moves away into a smaller room, jumps out the window. Oh, no, the headshot does connect at the end for Mafioso. But he cannot confirm that frag from where he currently stands. And Alpha 7 spawned into this game as a 3-man. I didn't even realize that until now. So still able to make it out, able to reduce that man advantage. But the res is coming out. It's going to go from a 2v2 back to a 2v4. The great window of time when no one had loot on the side of XSET is going to be lost. Imperium B. He's going to jump out. He knows that if he wants to create a man advantage, it's now or never. Gets the intel, peeks around the corner. He wins the fight despite coverage going the other way. But he gets backstabbed last second. And Alpha 7 are already out of the fight. This is why I believe one of their first bootcamp fights actually lost.
Indeed. It's the Chosen. We get no time to talk about what's just happened as another fight is going down. INCO, the Chosen. One by one, the Chosen are just being picked off. Vito 2K steps up, looks for another, gets the second in a row. Back-to-back eliminations, and the Chosen are down to just one max.
Now seeing this, I have flashbacks of this exact hot drop happening, and I think it was a Nova third party, and it worked out great. And they're going to maybe do it again. I'm seeing QZ just very close to this current position. The Chosen, once again, as we know, they go for hot drops, and they tend to not win them, at least not dominantly if they do win them, which happens sometimes. And QZ's just peeking around the corner. If he sees an opportunity, he's just going to call reinforcement, and Kindness is already on the move. And Nova, they're going to pick up everything. They are cleaning Ruins absolutely down to the bone. And it's going to be a tricky one for the Chosen to make it out with INCO also.
So to go back to the Alpha 7 XSET fight, I do believe that the main reason XSET ended up winning that fight was because Alpha 7 only spawned as a 3-person team. However, I do want to try and give a little bit of a pass to XSET. I really don't think they meant to drop in that location in boot camp. I know sometimes the parachute just doesn't go your way in PUBG Mobile. I'd be curious to find out if that was genuinely their intention to land where they landed. I really don't think that's the case. However, they composed themselves. It was that start by Killswitch and the DBS play that also was a big, you know, to them turning that fight around in their favor. But you take the wins. It wasn't XSET's fault that Alpha 7 only spawns as a 3-person team. So you take what you can get. in the world of PUBG Mobile. We haven't really had a chance to talk about the circle though, Max. It's pretty nice and easy. Yeah. It's mainly on that mainland area. Quarry is in play, and I was casting PMPL Arabia today, and I actually noticed these are similar positions being held by teams compared to what I saw in PMPL Arabia in a very similar circle. Either side of Quarry, the west and the east, have 3 to 4 teams holding on to it, and I think that kind of shows that as much as different regions do have their different play styles and little intricacies in the meta, the core good locations of circles generally stay the same from region to region.
Yeah, especially in a circle like this, right? You just know there's no questions asked about is the river going to be in play? Are we going to have to cross? Like, no, you know this as a fact is going to go to the eastern mainland, which is super good, so teams can already go for the strong positions they know are going to be good. No need to rotate later on, though. XSET already trying to get himself a few early eliminations. How do you survive that? Gets prone down, but the rest of his team is in the distance. They're keeping him alive for now, at least. Going to take a little bit of a shot, but J-Wade's making... that is not going to happen, mate. Knocked away, not in a position where he can get really rezzed. Even getting knocked a little bit further in the distance. There you go. Nice little shot. Don't get much out of it. He makes it over to the rock. So XSET, this is now going to be a very tricky position to escape. Actually, almost impossible to escape unless you escape sheer force, which seems like it's going to be the approach in this smoke push of Kill Switch. There you go, trying to get a little bit further away. If he wins this fight, that would be huge. He shoots back into the distance and he wins it.
Oh my!
He doesn't make it out alive. He does. Kill Switch is an absolute beast! Gotta stop this guy.
I don't know what Lotus are doing, but there's no way they should have allowed Kill Switch to get that knock. I believe Saul left on his own. No, he isn't left on his own because Blinky got the revive onto Chronix, and if Kyoshi can get revived up, that'll keep them up as a full squad. Nope, that's not the case. J-Way finishes them off 3v3.
Yeah, I was about to say, those flashy plays mean nothing. You can't try and start create a man advantage, which they were able to do now, so it's 3v3. You can't allow a man like Kill Switch to take those shots in the open. Was literally 0% of coverage. I think Lotus are going to try and learn from that mistake. One nade is coming out. You can see it getting cooked up. J-Way trying to med up a tad. Oh, that's a good nade, and J-Way unfortunately in the path of the nade. Sol gets it. Now there's a man advantage. Now they're pushing it. He knows that window might be free. No one's really holding on to it. He saw the 2 other players of XSET go wide, go further away. That's the great play. That is a really strong push from Lotus. I love to see this. I want to see more of it. A second onto Kill Switch. They're down to 1, and he's on the side. But J7 with a slither of HP. Can he take the fight versus Lotus? Unfortunately, I do not think so, Imperium. And Lotus finally come back from the fight and able to get himself one successful fight versus one of the top teams in the lobby.
It wasn't pretty, but job done. Definitely mistakes made from Lotus. There's no need for them to realistically lose a player. They shouldn't have allowed Kill Switch to get the knock when they did get the knock. And even at that end point, when Saul took that 1v1, that could have gone the other way around. I know as that mechanical difference can come into play, and that is something that should always be noted, but there is that moment of kind of 50-50. Why take that 1v1 when you don't have to? In the end, still Lotus clean up the fight, and compared to other games, I do have to give them props because it seems like they're trying to place themselves in a better position to maybe be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more controlling earlier in these games.
Could have been the case, though. The circle teams, some are still a little bit slow on the shift. It's fine. Looking at Nova, they are going wide, which makes me think when you're going this wide, the only teams I see doing things like that in positions where no teams are playing is to get as many meds as possible to heal off. Yes. That's what I'm thinking of right now. That's what comes to mind for Nova, is that they're going to bring their wings as wide as possible for the loot stage and hopefully get all the first aids they have available on the southern western island. I believe for the world record has been Imperium in PUBG Mobile Esports for most meds held at one time by a player. It must be like 40.
I believe... no, not 50. I believe 36.
Is that a random guess or is that something you see?
38? No, I remember seeing 36. Now, there is obviously a capacity, a maximum capacity that your back can hold. And if you only have meds, or if you have mainly meds and maybe kind of 40 to 60 bullets, yeah, but I believe it's 37-38.
Still pretty impressive number. I wonder how much time that would keep you alive in the blue. It's been an insane number. But yeah, Tiger able to get himself one sneaky knock onto GT God. We should do a test actually. No, I should give it a shot. Yeah. No, my boomer hands, I would just misclick and I would just die in the blue at like phase 1. I would just like, I'm gonna try and limit test myself and just miss it. So yeah, probably have to be you, Imperium. You have the reflexes of a 10-year-old boy. You're so fast, you're so speedy. Look at this guy, he's a true mobile gamer.
Yeah, but I've got fat fingers, so I'd probably make the same mistake as you.
So we both have boomer hands? Okay, I get it. It's cool.
Pretty much.
Fine. That's why we're here talking about the game, right? Yeah. That's why. Boomer hands can't do what these guys can do, apparently.
I haven't got boomer voice. Well, actually, I have got boomer voice, but still.
Do I have a boomer voice? Serious question. Do
yeah, you kind of do. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Wow.
But you make it up by your love of anime, and that kind of balances it out.
I don't think my love of anime is something that helps me in life to become a true member of society. I do not think that's what it achieves. But you know what? See if Myth can be a true member of society. Or is this sneak? I don't know what that transition was, but if he can become one fragger, he's going to get himself a 1. Pushes it pretty extensively, but you've got to be careful. He hasn't spotted the rest of the team. 1 overcommit, and you might regret it, and he will indeed, suffering a lot of damage here, down to half HP. He's going to heal off the background while his teammate is here to back him up.
Nice.
Back him up. He does. Nice. Nino picks up the second knock, and the rest of Furious Gaming so far in the distance. Can't really bring some good support here, but Loops. They're committing to it. They're going to go for the sneaky third party. This is a good little backstab that could be coming out from them.
Good play by Honor Souls, though. And I gotta give props to a lot of these teams as Phase 2 has kind of popped up and shifted over to West. I do like the fact that nobody really committed to the Laquai Hills, because I think the Laquai Hills are quite sprawling and it's a little bit hard to control that area. So I appreciate that a lot of teams kind of committed to the more centralized Circle Hills, and obviously that meant that like the Honored Souls and Furious Gaming did start to interact with each other closer into Phase 2. But there's also not only Loops that we need to consider, but Rise, as at least Cargo was able to get an initial knock on the Rise.
Maybe getting a little bit too close to the flames, so they might just get burned. Or when they get cooked up, gonna chuck it. Unfortunately, it doesn't explode in time. You don't need the damage of the nade. All you need is bullets. The lead goes right through the soul of GC God. Great to see. Well, okay, I see an orb right now. Okay, this is spooky. This is scary. For others, of course, not Nino himself, but see if he can one-tap those ones with a barrel. Oh, whoa, that is some good visual ASMR from Tiger. That's some good little one-taps. But Furious Game, unfortunately, the man advantage not quite there. They're fine for this circle, but it might get a little bit tricky. So if they can avoid taking fights head-on, that should be the approach that Furious Gaming go for the remainder of the game.
Good thing for Furious Gaming, Honored Souls, and Rise is that Loops are being distracted / slowed down by Loops. Now, Loops are, for the most part, being shut down with the help of Rise on a side note, so it's kind of like tit for tat across these 4 teams for the time being. That's what Sanhok can do. Even as early as Phase 2, you can get 3rd, 4th party from a distance if you're not heavily aware of where you are, and that's where Lotus could maybe have learned and not have committed so deep over the other side of the Quarry Hill, spent a little bit of time scouting and then use the information they gathered.
Yeah. So when I'm looking at the map feed currently that we have our disposal. Oh, okay, maybe I'll keep that for a second. This is an interesting fight. Lotus versus Loops. Not going to go any further. Okay, I'll go to my point then. Influence Rage. I said it, my peanut butter and sandwich level team, which is a very weird compliment, but it is a compliment. Going for the wide rotate towards south of Lakawi, which is very good with this type of circle. They're going to wait out for the circle while not getting involved in the fights. I think that is a good approach. Though, as long as they're ready to come into the fights later on when the circle moves away from them, which I believe is going to happen, that should be fine. That is the play that I'm expecting from them, while also having a huge split to get maximum information input. And the circle, not too bad. Centers up towards the western side of Lokawi Hills in particular, but as you said, Imperium, those are not great spots to go to too early because the high ground is to the west across the road is even higher ground, so very, very easy to get spotted and killed from those positions, so you've got to be careful as Lotus get also spotted out apparently and get eliminated in 14th.
Yeah, as it ends up, because the circles have kind of stuck a little bit more to the east than teams initially expected, we now see a cluster of teams on that more western side. Team QUESO, they open the door, and although they get an initial knock onto one of the Nova players, a teammate comes in and finishes Team QUESO off. 12 teams left, 34 players, as Honored Souls about to lose another player from their team. That seems to be the case for Honored Souls, as they can't seem to keep more than 2 players alive coming into the late stages of the game, if they even survive the late stages of the game.
Which, you know, on Salk is going to be definitely the very tricky part of things. Zero's X able to get himself one knock from distance, that's really good. But INTZ want to get a little bit more involved. I'm thinking, is this a fight that's going to help them in the long run? Unfortunately, starting to go downhill, making himself a potential pick for teams around them. I do not think this is a fight that they should commit to. Just hold on to the position. If you get pushed, defend it. Otherwise, I don't think that this is a position where you want to go downhill, because that is going to be a very slippery slope, literally. Because Ban is just... if Kalaris was here, he would explain why Ban is so bad, but you're just an easy pick for most teams, so avoid it like the plague, boys. Avoid it like the plague.
And the best place in Sanhok.
Oh, you like Ban?
I'll leave that a little bit silent for a sec. Only because Kalaris hates her. So it's just fun to disagree with him. Out of the 11 teams left, only 5 are up as a full squad, with 3 other teams having just a solo player. So the lobby is a little bit barren in terms of space being occupied. There's a lot of free space essentially inside this phase 3. Loop's looking to play a little bit with their food in the form of Furious Gaming. However, as it's a 2v3, it could go against Loops. They need to be careful.
Already lost 5 teams just in the middle of phase 3, so this game is going by pretty fast, though. It's going to go even faster, as that's going to be team number 6 out of the game entirely. Pretty good push from Loops. This time still has a 4-man, and normally, unlike last game Imperium, they should have an easy time rotating if the circle does not go their way. There's no river to cross, so that's at least a big step up compared to last game.
Yeah, you're dead wrong. Nova Esports down on the southwest
dead
side.
Wrong.
Finally made it in as into the circle. Sorry, what?
Dead wrong. You said I'm dead wrong.
No, I said. No, I didn't say
you literally
that.
said dead. You literally said dead wrong. I'm like, what?
What? No, I didn't.
Bro, we'll have to check the VOD. You 100% just said dead right. I think you wanted to say dead right.
Hey.
But I think you said dead wrong. I'm like, bro.
I probably meant to say dead right. Damn. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus like that. That was genuinely not intentional.
It was so cool. It was so good because like dead wrong super seriously, and then you just moved on to another topic like that was trash. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, that's trash too, though. Look how we finished. What the hell?
Man. Okay. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, after I just threw you under the bus, Novop is a full skater way into the southwestern edge of the circle. Now, this is a time in the game where it's okay to try and control the Kwai Hill. It's still a little bit sprawling, so you don't want to be in the absolute dead center. So Delta Stars, Influence Rage, probably in the best positions on the hills of the Kwai. Other than that, Nova sending QC to the compound is probably a big brain move. Big brain move for Nova.
Yeah, no one really wants to step in the Lokawi Hills, as you mentioned, Imperium already. Some teams might try and cross there as a coalition, but as the main game plan, that should not be the focus. But here, Loops are just going to force their way through. And it seemed like they were out of options, Imperium. They're going straight for Lokawi Hills, giving it a fair shot. And lose almost everyone except for one. Only one player currently stands. Very unfortunate for Mena.
And
it's a rough one.
That really came down to INTZ having a big brain move, a little bit similar to Nova, but they did it a little bit earlier. 2 in the compound, 2 in the hills. So they were able to basically sandwich Loops as they went for a bold rotation.
I don't know if I would say they sandwiched them, but they had multiple off angles that made it very easy to get rid of loops. That is for sure. It did offer some really big advantage
Harder
points.
for loops to crash the buildings that the two
Yeah.
players enter in.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very, very nice from INTZ on their position. So heads up on that one. Though, Delta Stars, they're in the game. They're still alive. And they still have, how many players do they have? 3 players that they lost on, unfortunately enough. But that is all they need. In a position where they are right now, no one is going to push you from the eastern side. You only have to focus on 180 degrees of landmass, Imperium. So Delta Stars currently, in their position, have the best chance in terms of, again, picking up a few eliminations, stopping teams from making that cross from west to east. Delta Stars should come out of this game with at least a few eliminations. 4-5, I would be happy, because here, if they play too passive, they're going to give opportunities to other teams around them to get into a good spot and then contest them. Delta Stars are in control. They cannot give it away.
I'd like for ESTORM to get angry, please. 0 eliminations. The only team with 0 eliminations that's left in the game, and they still have a full squad up.
Yeah.
If they go out now, they get, what, 1-2 placement points? It's a waste of game.
Yeah. I mean, they say the calm before the storm. I've only seen calm right now. The storm is nowhere to be seen. So hopefully we can see the storm at some point.
Oh my god.
Brimlow one taps Lewis. There we go. Stepping things up. Maybe heard me. I'm sorry if you took that as an offense, but it's true. You want to see some anger. We want to see some strong wins. Katrina should pale in regards to. Oh, okay. This. Whoa, wait. Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh. What is happening right now? We had a great finish. Now we have a Lucawi. I think this is my very first Lucawi finish ever. Okay, so this is a fun one. And if Influence Rage lose no time whatsoever on making their rotation happen, straight to Lucawi, and they are not going to move an inch after that.
Followed by Delta Stars just swinging in. And I love the fact that this circle still includes, it's not just Lucawi.
QZ?
It's a Lucawi circle with like 50% water in play. That's madness. Yeah. Luckily,
QZ.
For the remaining teams, there's only 21 players alive. My apologies, go on.
No, you're fine, because I feel personally attacked. QZ, why are you spraying like that, mate? You're spraying in the middle of the road, my dude. Okay? I respect the boldness of thy play, but thy play will not work out in the way you imagine. So, unfortunately enough, that is going to be a big fat no from me. The Chosen also going to take a note to the face, apparently eliminated in 8th rise, beginning their downward descent. But as we said, Imperium, making that cross happen late, and you're engulfed in the blue, which is phase 5. You cannot res up in this blue. You're going to have to heal off, and only 2 first aids for Rafina. He's got an orb, maybe get a lucky knock here and there. But anything more than that, this is Rise. They're trying to survive for extra placement points, which I do not believe they're going to get here.
Outside of Rafina, I believe it's a Jat and Koi of Nova, both looking to pull off heal strats. It's a good move at this stage in the game. Rafina has absolutely nowhere else to turn to. He's going to lose his life as INTZ gets a player knocked.
Ballsy play, but most teams are going to be struggling. I forgot Lazarus still had a player alive. Issa's just zoomed into the water, trying to survive, play the long game, which fair enough, respect to that. He was committing to the heal off, and he saw that circle. He's like, I like this. I'm taking it. This is mine. I'm going to try and get a top 3 from that, and I think he might. Nobody knows he's there. There's no clue. Influence Rage are 100% focused on the western side, where currently ESTORM and Delta Star stand. They have no clue on where he is.
He's in a boat. Now he's out in a boat. I was a little bit worried for him for a sec. Other than that, you are right. Nobody knows where he is.
I think he got in there just to be able to med up a bit. Maybe not med up, but just use the boosters. Before going back into the water might be the play. And if so, that's pretty good. Might give him a few extra HP to survive the storm to come. Talking about the storm though, ESTORM finally into a very strong position. Love their split, by the way. Huge 2-2. Nobody can move without suffering the wrath of ESTORM, which is huge. And Nova trying to push out as the last player. Delta Stars into a very tricky position, but ESTORM pushing a little bit deep, my friend, because they know they're not going to be in the next circle shift, and they are just struggling to hold on to that spot, Imperium. But Nova Koi, just in the background, got completely forgotten about and might just steal away a 3rd place out of nowhere.
Can Influence Rage come to Ireland? Because there's a storm warning here at the moment, and I just need them to get rid of the storm because they ripped apart ESTORM on top of the hill. You were technically right about ESTORM's position, but being on the high ground, you are basically exposed, and they could only deal with so many players. Influence Rage played that perfectly.
Yeah, they were exposed because they had to push out of that position and they had no option. You can't suffer the round of losing here. It's 8-7, so there's no way that's going to work out. Delta Stars, they're close to greatness, Imperium. They might be able to get himself finally chicken dinner. I would love to see it. You've got so many X factors in the game. You still have Influence Rage as a 4-man crew, and they are showing no signs of slowing down. It's not going to be an easy one for Delta Stars, but if there's any time more than now to step up, it is indeed going to be now. I want to see my first Delta Stars chicken dinner happen right here, right now.
It's a chat in the water. His thought process is, I'm a mermaid. I will not be seen. Water goes blue blue, and I go safe.
Very good imitation of it, sir. I talk to Marcel on a regular. That is exactly how he sounds.
That's what I thought.
Getting really close to Galski. They're looking at him, and no, he does absolutely nothing. Not even tickle the side of Influence Rage. They were fully prepared. Now we're down to 3. Nova do indeed steal that 3rd place. Koi able to get himself the first stage from a distance. Huge place from him. Now the barrage of nade is going to come out of nowhere, and that's off the back of Imperium. Them just playing super passive into the early game, seeing that circle continuously go into the east and say, like, we're not going to take fights, so we're just going to keep our resources, and it pays off big time. But now Delta Stars, what goes to the advantage? That little 1-on-1 split. Those little positions are huge. Blew Harden out of nowhere with an absolute bang of a nade. Can he get another one? That's going to be a molly. Gonna peek around the side, gets himself a second knock. Now it's down to a 2v2. Delta Stars. Can they make it happen? Oh, a little bit of an over. Still got 2 players, but you know the reses are going to come out, and there's no way Fragger's going to be able to push over that salt mine position. So this should be an Influence Rage chicken dinner. There's no way it doesn't happen.
Also, because I believe they gave all their meds over to that one player in the blue. Yeah, he's down to his final first aid. Probably secure 3rd place for his team as Koi is still alive.
Yep, he has 4. He outlives them. He's trying to get a final limb if he can, but no, that's the end. That's the GG. And that is going to be Nova out of nowhere securing himself that 2nd place. Someone in the chat just said, apparently he had 35 medkits. I don't know how true that information is, but if that's the case, we're pretty close to the record you mentioned earlier, Imperium, right? So he stacked up big time because of that huge split, right? We mentioned that split earlier. They had that huge split on the southern west island, stack up those meds, and they knew that fight, that cross was never going to happen. Give it all to Koi. Boom, you steal 2nd place out of nowhere, but Influence Rage, the peanut butter sandwich that keeps on giving, gives himself a huge chicken dinner on the 2nd game of the day.
And what I do like about how Nova played is they didn't stand back and do absolutely nothing with the rest of the team. They did still try to kind of move in and get eliminations to make it even easier for Koi. Influence Rage, though, it's great that we highlighted them as being that team that can perform well and do deserve more credit, and I think that was a great example of it right there. Yeah, I don't think even they expected the circles to shift so heavily towards LOTUS, especially towards the end. But much like teams need to maybe recognize in this America's Elite League, don't need to commit so early in the game. Influence Rage, they waited, and then they set themselves up for the late game. It was just way better executed compared to so many others.
Yeah, they just saw the options available. Like, you never know. If the circle goes that way, we get ourselves in a game-winning position that's almost impossible for them to lose. And that's exactly what they did. Get secure himself 25 points on the 2nd game of the day. Absolute banger. Once again, the team that keeps on giving, that does not falter in the face of hard circle shifts. They will get the best position if the option comes their way. But I think the teams are getting a lot used to heal strats, Imperium. I think we're going to get to a point where heal strats are going to be super common for most of the teams right now. Nova are the ones that have perfected the art of heal offs. I don't know if I would call it an art because I do not like them, but an art nonetheless. And get 19 plates, literally have a position that 99% of the teams were not able to cross because they didn't have the resources. And Nova like, if we can't make the cross happen, we're just not going to cross. And that's what they do, and they get 2nd place out of nowhere. That is why the heal offs is so good. It's because if you have a decision you know you cannot make, just don't do it and just wait and heal off, and you'll get easy points without putting any effort into it.
And that's why a team like ESTORM really needs to take a step back and be far more influenced by the likes of Rage, pun intended. Because ESTORM, I get what they were at least looking to do. A little bit like Influence Rage. Just bide their time, wait. But there's no real bite behind that. There's no real attempt to then control kind of phase 4, phase 5. They waited until kind of phase 6. They waited until they had to move into the circle. And they had an okay position on the top of the hill. Then they got drowned out on top. And even then, why didn't they then give all their meds to one player and get that player to pull a heal off? It probably would have provided a good few extra placement points for them.
Okay, Imperium, we do not have a lot of time. I want to ask this question right now. How much healing comes out from Koi? You got to bet, okay? I'm seeing in the chat, everyone apparently saw 35 med kits. I did not see it. Thank you very much, chat. Appreciate it. 35 med kits. How much healing do you think he has?
About 3,400.
Yeah, I was going to say 3,200. We'll see how far we're going to go on that one, because he has had potentially the highest heal off I've seen in the last year of PUBG Mobile Esports. That is how many first aid kits that guy had. Kindness, though, I said it, I'm happy to see players of Novo. I saw Koi step up, I saw Kindness step up. Even though this is more of a team effort, as you mentioned at the start of the day, Imperium, I think the Kindness, especially for a player that I did not witness play too much before coming into this tournament, has definitely surprised me in how he's playing these games so far. And Federal, I mean, it's Federal. Do I have to tell you who Federal is? No, you probably know. And this guy is still nutty from start to finish with almost 800 damage in this game. But yeah, let's see. Oh, no, actually not over 3,000, but still 2.7k heal off Imperium.
Yeah, I did my maths just a little bit. I pulled a max man, basically. I tried to do quick math and it kind of failed. Yeah, I know. But is it look, he traveled the furthest distance and he still got his team a half decent result. It's not pretty, but like Koi, it gets the job done.
Yeah, I'm actually really dumb because I made the math based on he was going to heal from 0 to 100 every single time. So that's not the case, because you're going to heal 75.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to heal up to 75 and you're not going to be down to 0 HP, because otherwise you would be, well, no, not alive. So I guess you would heal every single time around maybe 60 HP, 60, 65 maximum. Yeah. So yeah, you know what? I should have thought a little bit more, but still 2.7k heal off. That is something you do not see very often, and it's really fun to see. So, I mean, how all the games have been fun. We had a Lakawi finish, we had a Krates George Pole finish. We're going back into an Erangel game. Where's it going to finish Imperium? I want to see a call off. Say it is, tell me a compound. Where's it going to go?
Los Leones.
Okay, Los Leones is in Erangel, apparently. That's great to see. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god!
Thank you very much. No, take these back. We're going to a break. We'll see you later.
Bang, 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 for the game. You know
Bien, j'ai Julien Fournier Rock Couture. Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
Three, two, one.
And yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, if you thought your ears played you a dirty little trick, you're wrong. It is in fact going to happen. We are going to have and witness the very first Lost Leonis finish we have ever seen over on Orango. Imperium, I never thought I would witness this day before.
Okay.
But,
in my defense, it's 12:30 at night here. I've already commented one event today, and I'm an idiot. That's the third part is probably the most important part of my defense. I'm a certified idiot. Just F in the chat for that. I really, there's nothing like, I remember I did it once before. I think we were talking about it during the break. I don't know if it was PMWI or another event where I think I said like I think Picado was in like Vikendi map or something like that, or the other way around. It just sometimes happens like that. So to kind of answer your question though, from that previous break, as you have a look at the groups and which one isn't playing today, I'm gonna call Yasnaya finish.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was gonna transition and say that this is why we're such a good duo Imperium, like it's Dumb and Dumber. That's the thing we're going with. Well, no, on our teams are not going to be playing our next game. It's going to be Group C. INCO, Loops, Rise, and Furious Gaming are not going to be participating in our next game. So they can have a little bit of a step back, look at the next game that's going to be happening once again on Orango, and see how things are going to go down. But that means also some big boys are going to come back into this game. VIVO, Keyed, and also the team that came back from their ashes after the first harsh 3 days of play, and that is Black Dragons, and I want to see some momentum built up after this Imperium. I don't want to see another 1, 2, 3 point game. I want to see some consistency. I would like to see another 10-point game minimum from these guys because they have true potential. They showed it in the past, but it's been a rough start. But now they've got to start building that consistency. Otherwise, I think it's going to get to the point where it's too late to really truly climb in the rankings.
Yeah, you're dead right. Outside of the job they still need to do in the overall rankings, it always starts with that little bit of consistency, that little of momentum. Outside of what we always, to an extent, look for as commentators and analysts, that consistency in performance. For them as a team, in their mentality, their confidence, nothing sucks more than going from a 12, 13 point game to 0 point game. Back to a 12, 13 point game, back to a 2 point game. Yes, you can't always control the result you have because that's the way PUBG works. It's a variable, it's RNG, etc, etc, etc. But when you have that volatility, you start questioning things so much more. As an IGL, you start to question your decisions, question your calls. The players then start to question you as an IGL. They question each other. And that seed of doubt can be probably the biggest reason why you're not having that consistency. It's a vicious cycle. It can be hard to break. But when you do, it feels so good to get out of that cycle of kind of inconsistency and self-doubt. So yeah, you're dead right. Black Dragons, I do want to see that continued improvement.
Yeah, I mean, self-doubt is the reason why so many teams are today, for example, world champions. You're looking at Nova, the Chinese team. Yeah, there's been a lot. I'm 100% sure. I mean, I don't know the intricate details inside of the team and how things work out, but you know, as a fact, it's been a lot of self-doubt for this team. And because they doubt themselves, they improve, they work on things, and they make things work out at the end. And that's how the best teams are forged, through trial and error and through molten steel. I was trying to go with a cool No transition there,
Like,
make it look sick.
look-
But yeah, no.
It's fine. Like, look at Nigma, right? And I'll always use their recent situation as an example. They had 5 points or 4 points in 5 games of one day of PMGC East, and
Yeah.
that was like the biggest. Like, you couldn't ask for a worse day, a bigger day of self-doubt, and they came back from that. So yeah, you use Nova, I use Nigma. They're both very good examples.
Exactly. Oh man, you're right. I just love the storyline of Nigma Galaxy and how they performed in the grand finals.
All right.
Like, that doesn't make me proud to see some regions that maybe were a little bit overlooked and see these guys pop the hell off in the grand finals tournaments. That is the kind of storylines I love to build in PUBG Mobile Esports. And you know what? Teams that are here might be the Nigma Galaxies of tomorrow. You never know. We'll have to see how things are going to pan out, but that is what these teams are trying to move towards. And even though they might have a hard start today, tomorrow is for sure going to be brighter for these guys. So, there we go. Playing path from east to west down for the finish towards Gatka / Quarry position. So a lot of positions are going to be available for these teams except for Sudnovka Island. But still, if you want to drop Sudnovka Island, you are used to these playing path not always being in your advantage, so you can make that rotate happen pretty easily. Yeah, here's night finish. We'll see if the phase on circle is going to go there, Imperium. Otherwise, we'll see. I'm going to call a potential Sudnovka military base island finish. Let's go.
Ooh, okay.
We'll see.
That's a fair call. That's a fair call. Lazarus Alpha 7, sorry, ATON, seem to be connecting with each other per se in around the Lipovka area. Phase 1, it's not Sosnovka military island / base. It is north center, which is in line with the potential Yasnaya finish. We'll have to wait and see how that continues. What is interesting for the time being is that only outside of any of the teams in George Paul, there's only Lotus on the northern side of the river.
Yeah, and you got yourself also the boys of Alpha 7, you know, but it's not really north. The Koi is going to get sent to the afterlife potentially very, very soon. And just trying to roll over. And you just have a teammate that got knocked, you know, Xifan. There's no rush. Oh yeah, there you go. He's finally going to move away. I don't think that there's a big chance of Koi actually surviving in that one, so... Your 35 med kits will not save you now, friend. Too late.
By the way, Pedrino got that knock from a distance with a Vector. That's pretty good. I know the Vector doesn't have much of a bullet drop, but even just like those bullets spray out pretty damn quickly. So yeah, props to Pedrino with that knock from a distance. However, Honored Souls have still lost a player early on, and unfortunately, that's one of the things that have been consistent with their performance.
Surprised he's not getting prone and actually laying down. But he has not been spotted out. How the hell do you drop in a position like this? You have a plane path which is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe for them because it's not close to their drop location they were hoping for. But how the hell do you get yourself in the open fields of farm? It's just... I think I've never seen a player just running in the middle of nowhere with zero loot and trying to run away. Luckily enough, his team is there to back him up and pick him up. How does that happen?
What's a meme of like, you're probably wondering how I got here? Know that one?
You know what? I think you might have memed me for the first time. I think I'll have to look at
okay, I'm gonna have to. It's more of a quick. It's probably more of a quick video clip per se, where the video pauses and it's like you're probably wondering how I got here. Then it can lead into something else. Yeah. I probably didn't explain it right because I'm not the best at explaining. No, you did. To be fair,
you did. I was more thinking of an image instead of a video, and I was like, oh yeah,
no worries.
Yeah. I was thinking of the one, and this is how I met your mother. I didn't know the start of that show. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a meme also, but
can I just highlight
out of context, that might be a bit brutal.
Can I just highlight how the Chosen are still alive? I know they didn't have to contend with Rise dropping and contesting school apartments. But I call it a little bit of a victory that they're still alive as a full squad. Now, they've gone for a pretty deep rotation into the kind of center of the circle as a 3-1 split. That's not a bad split in the center of the circle, but I can't help, based on how they performed across all of the games so far, how well they can hold on to that split in the center of the circle with the likes of BULUC looking in their direction, Influence Rage. It's going to be easier said than done to hold on to it.
Yeah, going to be easier said than done. We'll see how things are going to pan out with these guys. There's no Rise, so if there's any time like now to go for the usual drop location and to be completely uncontested, it is now the Chosen, which they did. Got the loot, moving out, getting ready for potential cross on the river, which, I mean, for the person that's maybe not too used to watching PUBG Mobile competitive, if so, welcome. Welcome to the domain. But these circles might look good and look very friendly, but they are not. They're the complete opposite, actually, because they're literally on the 50-50 river split. And if you committed to one side and the circle, unlucky enough for you, commits to the complete other side, you've got to cross those positions. And in circles like this on phase 1, a lot of teams are going to try and focus those pivotal positions to defend the bridge camps.
Yeah.
So to the uneducated eye, these circles look good, but actually it's... no, not at all.
Nobody's in the kind of queue building outside of North George. It really wouldn't be a bad place to go for this phase 1. It's not too deep into the center, but also he has an anchor point to force you to play around it and grab a good bit of information. I like the fact that Influence Rage have spread out a little bit more on that northern side of the river up towards the tadpole spot of the river. Because not only is the high ground, but again, a little bit similar to the cube compound. It's just close enough to the edge where you're not committing yourself. Again, similar to how they played throughout the Sandlock game for the time being. Of course, it comes down to how they're going to play it later on and how many other teams rotate around them. It remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen indeed. Some teams starting to also begin their rotations inside the circle. Team QUESO, I am seeing them starting to use cars a little bit. I'm not sure if they fully want to commit to that bridge camp on the western side of Sonovka Island, which they might, but they're actually regrouping on position, so I don't know if they actually intend to defend it. They're also currently taking a fight versus Nova. That's why they're not moving. I didn't quite see them on my minimap, so that would explain. Yeah.
What are Nova doing?
They're trying to get all the meds, like last game. It's not Sandhawk, I think they forgot.
Like, I don't know if they need to borrow Google Maps or something, but they were going in the opposite direction to where the circle was. And they should also know that Team QUESO drop around Ferry Pier. They weren't really going to stay around Ferry Pier for the whole of phase 1. They were going to naturally move closer to the western bridge / the edge of the circle. So it doesn't really make sense of headed in that direction.
Bit of a weird one. Could I explain why they've done such a decision? No, not really.
You should be able to. You have to.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you. Because they wanted to. Is that good enough? Are you happy with that reply, Imperium? Is that good?
Yeah, I accept it. I accept that.
Because they want. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's definitely it's not a pogi mogi, that's for sure. So down to what I believe one player currently was just Zifan. So a little bit of an L taken very early on in this game. Though I am seeing some teams getting really close to one another, and that's currently Alpha 7 on the defending side. But INTZ, as we know, if there's an early fight they can avoid, they're going to try and avoid it as much as possible. They just instantly roll out, split away, get himself back into a potentially stronger position. But this compound is held so far by Alpha 7. It's super strong in this circle also, but from seeing the circle pop, I think that the circle is not going to remain north. I think there's a big chance it's going to go southeast.
Might say that INTZ instantly moved away from Alpha 7.
yeah. You could say that, yeah.
You are right about the circle shift. Definitely heading more towards the south of the river finish. But I also don't mind if Alpha 7 stay in a nice spread around that compound that they moved to, because not only is it high ground, but again we could see phase 3 shift back northeast, right, northwest. So it's still only phase 2. I'm good if they stay where they are.
You know, we talked about and ranted about it so much during the first game about not making assumptions about circles, but here I am, me, caster, making assumptions about circle shifts. So I do not follow my own tips and tricks apparently, which is very disappointing, but how it is, how it is. J7, ooh, trying to jump around behind those smokes while his teammates are getting rezzed up. BULUC is going to be back into the game.
ATON?
They want a piece of this position, apparently. I think it's a weird one, but do they actually want to breach this? I guess so. I guess so. Okay, this is a very early aggressive push like this, but it seems like it is working out. Oh, unfortunately, ATON taking a lot of damage. 2 players knocked, 1 player extremely low. And Fran 96 is going to be really standing in their way. The Reddits come up. There you go, peeking around the corner, and that's it for XSET. They give away their plateau position over to the hands of ATON, but ATON, they're really low. There's a team Honorable Souls about to peek onto the western side. It's not going to be an easy one.
It's technically a 4th party. What the hell? We have nothing for like 11 minutes, and then it all goes boom boom in this one area of the map. Absolute madness. Started off with XSET engaging onto LAZARUS, ATON get involved, and now Honored Souls. Maybe a little bit too late to the party. Props to ATON7 for being able to not only clean up XSET early on, like early enough, but also recover and at least stay up as a duo. So they being thrown out, that's going to connect. Possibly another one from Pederino. Find the lock at Alpha 7. Or ATON, should I say.
Well, what is so alluring on this mountainside to have 4 teams crash on phase 2? Unfortunately, I could not answer that question. A lot of things I cannot answer this game. It's very weird. It doesn't happen too often normally, but Honored Souls able to get himself the few extra knocks that they need to start creating an advantage, to start pushing teams away from this spot, and they just take care of most of ATON's team. There's only one really standing in their way currently, and he should be just 1 shot away from death. He has no more first aid kits from what I've seen so far. And all of Honored Souls join the party. There's a little bit of a backstab happening. You've got to be careful down below. It's not going to be that easy of a fight. But they spot him out, and that's it for ATON, eliminated in 15th place. And this hilltop is finally under the control of Honored Souls.
LAZARUS are thanking their goddamn lucky stars, because they were in a bit of trouble initially against XSET, right? And they're pretty much the outside of Honored Souls, who 4th party, the only team to survive out of all of this. The circle has shifted down south. A good chunk of the northerner is still in play, but this is why I like the fact that Alpha 7 stayed where they were, because on that circle shift down the southwest, boom, easy rotation to continue the edge of the circle inside it. Happy days, just playing it so methodically, just like we saw from Influence Rage in the previous game.
Yeah, straight and forward. And sometimes the the most simple type of plays and rotations are the ones you pay off most, which is why we see so much success from like a team like Influence Rage. It's just simple, effective, and yet it works almost every single time. It's very by the book, but it's by the book for a reason, because it's shown in the past it worked many, many times. VIVO Keyed going for their typical 2-2 split that they love to go for, sometimes a little bit too overzealous, but you know what, it's a position that as of right now I'm not too against. I think it's fine, but Alpha 7, gotta be careful how you position, because a lot of eyes are looking your position, especially the likes of LOTUS and INTZ. So they got to be careful, because they could get a play or two knocked super quickly if they're not careful. Or either.
It looked like they were going to hang around the cube compound, Max, but committing the whole squad this deep into the circle, I do think it's a bit of a risk. On a side note, VIVO Keyed made a mistake, because they had players on Overwatch around Watertown, and between here and the vehicles, McGrellan probably shouldn't have gotten caught out. Now, he's been revived up, but I do think that was a bit of a boo-boo overall from VIVO Keyed.
Well, Nino, how do you find yourself in this position, my friend? Grenade exchange seemed like they are very unaware of Nino's position.
Probably wondering how it got
He heard
here.
that nade. He must have heard that nade pin. Oh, he saw the nade arc. There's no way. He must know he's on the rooftop. Is he just going to nade inside? Just going to go for an underthrow right on top of the roof. Oh, yeah, he's getting himself a little bit further back. Oh, that was a good idea, but not quite able to hit the mark, and now he peeks over, puts one player down to 1/3 HP. Nino trying to move his way back. He knows he can't stay on that rooftop. Pushes back just in the nick of time before getting pushed by another player of Delta Stars. It's been wide.
Lovely by Myth.
Battle of nades right now. Started off the stream saying that the grenades and everything have been strong, and you know what? I was going to say it's been a slow start on the nades today, but that was an absolute banger that just came through for Honored Souls, and now they're going to go for the full-on breach, but they have no info in the smoke. That's one, but it's going to be avenged by Bendrijo. That's going to be the entire team normally cleared out. They just peek around the corner, go for the spray inside the smoke. He gets a little bit of a hit marker, and he clears out the team. Bendrijo makes it absolutely flawlessly towards the end there almost, and that's going to be their 9th kill, but you've got to be on the left side of their position. It is going to be the Chosen ready to take the fight.
Great play by Honored Souls, having a 2-1 split. Overall, the Myth worked wonderfully with the help of Pederino on top of the roof to slow down and end up getting the squad race. So well played, Honored Soul. Props to you. The next circle pops up. It shifts once again down south, this time on the southeast. So Headshot Hills, that's the name of the game, and it's going to benefit ESTORM Gaming, Black Dragons, and Team QUESO with VIVO Keyed still inside Watertown.
Yeah. I would love to say that I would love to see some teams try and cross towards Ruins to avoid the teams inside Sunken City, but we're not going to lie, Imperium, that's not feasible because you would have no cars, and to make inside of Headshot Hills without a car is just, it's mission impossible. A 99% chance that is not going to work and it's going to fail. So you're going to have to cross this position. It's very contested. You got Alpha 7, you got also a player of Nova, Xifanders just chilling inside there, and VIVO Keyed. Northern side, you got INTZ and also Lotus. But Influence Rage, I'm scared for them. It's not going to be an easy one though. Opa spots them out, trying to move away from Garden. But Chosen is just, unfortunately, split one by one. It gives themselves for free almost, Imperium, and there's no way they can define their position. So, Honorable Souls, that is an easy push for them.
Credit to Alpha 7. I like that they moved into Watertown. That's the player, but still, I think it was the overall the right call based on where they had put themselves in the circle previously. If they had stayed where they were, they probably would have gotten heavily punished by not only Influence Rage, but kind of INTZ, Lotus, and even VIVO Keyed, who were in Watertown at that point. So it was just kind of safer just moving and committing into Watertown on that position. By no means is it out of the woods just yet for them. However, they've gotten themselves out of a much stickier situation than the past.
Pretty sticky. We'll see if they can make it out of that trap. Some good nades. Starlight able to get himself one onto himself. Actually, I was going to say that's a good nade, but no, he just naded himself. So,
lol.
Not the way you want to go out. Omega lol. Influence Rage. Oh, sorry, INTZ, should I say. Went into a pretty wide split. And on the other side, Influence Rage are suffering the wrath of all these teams ready in Sunken City, already that have crossed this bridge location. And I think that they're going to try and play the long game, try and survive if they can, or just wrap around East Ruins, I think would be the best callback play from them. But otherwise, I think that Influence Rage might be living their final moments here.
They know what they could do. If they really wanted to, it would be a bold move, Cotton, but it could pay off. Actually go back into the blue, swing onto the bridge outside of George Pole, and come in through Ruins. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a bold move, but it could work out. Now, they don't have all the information like we do, but I would kind of respect them trying to pull it off, because I can't see them. They must know that there's no way in blue hell they're getting through the current bridge that they're aiming for.
That is a play that literally relies on the amount of first stage they have. If they do not have enough, and they've been taken a severe beating by the teams on the other side of the road, that play would not work out. But I gotta say, Imperium, things have been working out for them. They have their lucky star above them, and they've been able to actually get a successful push onto Alpha 7. Law already onto the other side of the road, or of the river, should I say. This team should be able to join up pretty soon. Fidel and Little Boy are ready to make that cross happen, hopefully. So there's a chance that they can make it past into Sunken City, take the fight to Alpha 7, even Zif out of Nova, and then fight for potential chicken dinner. If that would be the case, that would be a huge comeback from a position that I thought they were dead, and actually secure himself the win. But here you go, that's the fight. ESTORM get himself their second frag so far in this game, and control one very strong position, but that's not quite in circle.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's Black Dragons to be the victims of ESTORM's push. Fortunately, 0 eliminations going out in 12th. I believe that's just going to afford them 1 point. The Chosen down to 2 players on the edge of Rostock. BULUC, who had been also a little bit on the northwestern edge of Rostock for quite a while inside this game, now just going to send a full squad in on separate vehicles. LOTUS were there first, so they could punish them with the help of VIVO Keyed. BULUC, they're getting picked off one by one.
A little bit of a rough position to be in. Tough spot. BULUC CHABTAN also trying to move in. Gonna have to take that fight towards ESTORM though. We'll have to see if we're gonna switch over to that fight, but I think it will be an interesting one. Myth peeks his head. Almost instantly regrets that decision. Luckily enough, still has a first day. No, if you ban, he had 3 bandages. He has nothing. This is gonna be a rough spot for Honorable Souls.
Yeah, he does have some stems that he can use, but that's going to take a while for him to anyway get up to a decent amount of health. Another BULUC player gets knocked down, like I said, kind of somewhat being picked off one by one. They have a bit of an anchor play into the circle, but ESTORM rolling around looking for blood. Alien Kid, he's able to survive and gets a revive off.
Plays on his side. There you have it. Things are going to heat up here. BULUC CHABTAN, Team QUESO. Team QUESO, we said, right, we keep seeing improvements from. We'll see if this time is going to reward them with their second chicken dinner so far in the tournament, though. Influence Rage finally going to go for the full-on offensive push onto Alpha 7. Alpha 7 down to 1 is Carrillo. So that's the nade. While Mafioso down below still trying to grant information over. The molly is perfect, right on top of Carrillo. Takes very small amount of tick damage from that one, down to about 50% HP. And Mafioso is cut away, cannot get rezzed up by Carrillo just yet, so that's going to buy some precious time for Influence Rage. Now Team QUESO going for the full-on push, and ESTORM get absolutely swiped off the surface of the earth. Team QUESO, once again successful in their attempt. But Ferdinand, everyone forgot he was here, and he might just be able to get a little bit of a backstab play later on.
Like, nope, I'm in the vehicle, nobody can see me, and hey, you survive, you look to strive. Common sense play from the final player at BULUC. LOTUS, the circle shifts in their direction. If 3 players all together, that does worry me a little bit. VIVO Keyed, although they're down to 2, they've been quite noisy from the edge of Watertown. Now Team QUESO, they have the elevated position. Nade goes out. LOTUS, this is probably going to be the end of them.
Yeah, there's no escape from such a position, really. LOTUS, there you go. The molly comes down. The nades are going to come down too, I believe.
Jesus.
No chance in hell you survive this one, LOTUS. I respect the attempt, but the moment that this team took this position right behind you, there is no escape. Well, I'm still impressed with the fire rate of that weapon. But there you go. A final nade will seal their fate. So LOTUS are out in 5th place. Still a little bit of an improvement from what we've seen in their first 3 days. So heads up on that. But now they take control. Now there is no escape as BULUC CHABTAN got only 2 first aid kits, I believe. He's going to push, maybe get an extra kill here or there. But that chicken dinner seems very unlikely for BULUC CHABTAN.
Oh. I love the fact that MG3 from Team QUESO, it's like, it is such a dangerous weapon. So they have 5 players in their team with that loadout right now. This is their win. This is their game. This is a cheesy chicken dinner in my eyes.
I wonder if the game's going to be able to keep up with the amount of bullets shot every single second. God damn. Server overload, we'll see. He said, been a little bit noisy. Not now, though. I think that now we're playing a little bit of a slow, silent game. So went for the info, but that Team QUESO split. Absolutely love it. But it is good in the case that no one is southeast, which there's one lucky fellow. It's right here. Switches over.
Let's go.
I want to reload to make any audio cues, which I do respect. There you go. Eyes on the prize. No, he's waiting out. The trigger discipline is huge, but if you get spotted out, 1 pixel Imperium is all they need, and everything is lost for BULUC CHABTAN.
You respect the trigger discipline. I was calling for it. But he's waiting. He's waiting. The next circle is yet to pop up, so I get even more why he's waiting. It does shift up towards Vivo Keyed. They can now continue to lay low.
Sneak level 100. He did reload the M4, so he did make a small audio cue. It seemed like Team QUESO are not aware of that actually happening. And they know, they scout in most positions. They know that the only main threat is going to be the players that are trying to move away the remnants of Sunken City. Kanai able to put himself on a more advanced position, really good. While just giving Bye-Bye and Ayala, sorry, the good high ground position to just get huge snipes from, really. But the circle does move away from them, so you're going to have to move in a tad. That circle could be a huge turn of events to the advantage of maybe, mainly, also Vivo Keyed or Influence Rage, but it's getting Ferdinand of BULUC CHABTAN is there. Whew.
Okay, good. I'm glad Ayala has pushed in because Team QUESO didn't need 2 players in the back line. That 2-on-1 is now perfect. Also, do not forget about Law of Influence Rage.
Yeah, the thorn in the side of these teams. Oh man, this is an intense one. You just know that one bullet is going to be shot and that's just going to begin everything. Whoa, okay, that's very bright. That was a very long time too. Luckily enough, Law did not really get too hurt by that, though those bullets are going to be pretty hurtful from what it seems. And that's it. Now he's down to top 3 teams. 4th place for Influence Rage. Now we go for it. What a nade. But the thing is, they do not know where that nade came from. They have no idea.
He must know
where
it now.
That spot
he must know it now.
Well, there you go. He must have seen it. He must have seen it. There's no way. He's still looking. He's spinning around. Okay, I think he saw it right there. Okay, the nade. Boom. It's a little bit more damage done. You might want to cancel that one. You might want to confirm it. He gets up, and there you go. He is going for the push. He is now going to affront his demons. And now some eyes are going to be looking his way. Then now you've got to be careful. The rest of the lobby is going to be making sure you do not get that win.
I presume it was Fernand that threw that smoke in the direction of the rest of Team QUESO. I believe that was the case. Lovely play from the solo player, BULUC.
Above damage, but Vivo Keyed, are they aware? They must have seen those nades. They must have seen that nade arc coming through. If so, that's going to make it even harder for Ferdinand to really make a dent in this final game moment. This is a slow finish for sure.
The circle center's up.
Yeah.
And nobody's inside it.
I mean, who could be? You would be literally the pinata of the lobby if you win a center right now. You'll just get absolutely bullied by 99% of the players still remaining. There you go, spotted out. Bye-bye, taken down by Ferdinand. We said it. This guy could be your downfall. But now he took some actual shots with his gun. And now Vivo Keyed have a way better idea of the position of their enemies. So Ferdinand now doesn't only have 1 team to take care of, he has 2. And that's going to be a big major issue, but they're moving away from him. That could be a really lucky opportunity for him to strike.
Surprised Fernand can even move a big balls of steels are moving across the land. This is the solo player. 3v2v1 between these final 3 teams.
There we go. Things are starting to heat up, Imperium. He's getting close. Diego with the M249. You know that that's going to be one hell of a dent they're going to put in. But Ferdinand gets spotted away. That's the end for BULUC CHABTAN out in 3rd place. What a run from Ferdinand regardless of the outcome. There you go, getting closer. If he gets 1 knock, the M249 might just be what they need to get rid of Team QUESO. He goes for the spray, and that was a weird rollout. Oh my God. Now, what was that about? He gets 2, he gets 3, and Diego with the M249 absolutely turns the game on its head, and Vivo Keyed get himself game number 3.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
M249?
Yeah, Vivo Keyed. I'm a little bit mind blown at how super quickly that game ended. But you kind of call it the M249. Diego in a great spot. His teammate, although in a more exposed flat area, did provide just a tiny level of suppression. And when Fernand got taken out by the last player, Vivo Keyed, I thought that was going to be a major advantage to Team Queso because Team Queso would have seen that in the elimination feed. And I think they tried to react to it, but they kind of reacted to it in the wrong direction. And it was the fact that they reacted rather than being proactive to 2 minutes before that was the main reason why VIVO Keyed were able to steal that game away.
So I want to break down exactly what happened at this finish here. After you get rid of the last player of BULUC CHABTAN, which is huge, liberates a lot of space, VIVO Keyed can put 100% of their focus on the 3 players of Team QUESO. I do believe that this was an intentional sacrifice play from Adrian in the sense that you have an M249, you have the best loadout to potentially take that 1v3. I'm going to sacrifice myself, take the focus of the team, and during that split second where the focus is lost on Diego, and Lucio has that smoke to close that gap even more, which was a huge play that allowed him to get that very easy 1v3 spray. That is what allowed him to get it. Look, Adrian, about to go with the spray on the UMP. The moment he does that, look at Team QUESO, their focus. Boom. Takes a few shots. Instantly spotted away. And Konat also rolls in his direction, but completely forgets about that player. And then he strikes for that split opportunity that Adrian was able to allow him to have. That is 10,000 IQ play, 10,000 IQ communication. The trust you must have to pull off plays like that is huge. And VIVO Keyed able to get himself the chicken dinner off the back of that. I absolutely adore that, Imperium.
It was still a great game from Team Queso. It really was. Oh, yeah. And I need to give them that element of credit. 12 eliminations, 24 in total. VIVO Keyed, though, they were noisy and then they stopped being noisy when they needed to stop being noisy. That's the big thing that I really talk about, that when I mention VIVO Keyed, right? Their ability to know what to do at nearly every moment in that game. Yes, they made a tiny mistake when one of their players got knocked by Alpha 7. The revive came through. They didn't make a mistake like that again. And then they started making noise, like I said. They started being quiet. They played that end game bang on and yeah, got to win. It's very hard to talk about any other team right now when VIVO Keyed are playing just so impressively.
Yeah, and also something to note, Imperium. VIVO Keyed eliminated Alpha 7 in that game. So they are actively, maybe not intentionally, focusing down Alpha 7, because in a position like that, you cannot actively search down a team and push them. But they are actively taking down first place. It's not like they're getting points through other means, right? They're actively also taking down the best team in the lobby, what people might call them. But VIVO Keyed are gunning for the title here of the best team in the Americas Elite League Season 3 2022. And it's working great. We're going to have a few of these extra stats. Not as much heal off. We don't have 2.7k heal off this time. No. We're going to calm things down just a tad. But Ferdinand, big respect to him, also able to get himself a double nade, almost a double frag on Team QUESO. Got 1 flush and 1 knock. He also helped in the success of VIVO Keyed. So no, I hope we're going to have some firm handshakes between VIVO Keyed and the side of BULUC CHABTAN, because that was some good help, my boys.
For sure. What was that Team Queso player doing getting in the vehicle? It's one thing that I really need to know. Like, it's a buggy. I know the buggy technically has good acceleration, but you're like phase 7, phase 8. You know that it's a 2v3. The second you're in the vehicle as a driver, especially a buggy, you're a free target. So that was like another big mistake that came out from Team Queso. I'm sorry that I have to end that point like that, but it was there. They made the mistake. They have to live with it and learn from it.
Yeah, I got a lot of things to say to break down that play, but you know what? We're going to do that right after this break, so don't go anywhere.
Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
Okay, we're back. We needed more time to break down what happened at the end of that game, Imperium. You wanted it. The floor is yours. Go on. Continue.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You put me on the spot. Yeah, again, I just kind of like highlight how Team QUESO, and it's part of that development that they are showing and the improvements step by step. But it's just that final execution that they're missing. Big positives. They're up into 9th overall in the rankings, 113, only 1 point behind LAZARUS and 6 points behind INTZ, even 15 points behind INCO Gaming. So they definitely have it within them to be in the top 5 in this tournament, in my eyes. Just missing out on those, those executing moments to get a chicken dinner could be the reason why they don't make it.
Yeah, my boys Influence Rage, though, able to overtake Alpha 7 and VIVO Keyed in one clean swoop. Let's see that from Influence Rage. Can they remain up there? That's the big question to be asked. But Alpha 7 actually able, this last game, to cross the 100 elimination margin. So really good stuff from Alpha 7. We'll see if they can try and jump up a little bit, because teams are getting close when it comes to that elimination record so far in the Americas Elite League Season 3. So I'm looking at Influence Rage, looking at VIVO Keyed, Nova Esports Rise. Their elimination count is extremely high, and it could surpass 100 really damn soon. Was one a banger of a game. So we'll see how things are going to pan out. But now coming into our next game 2, we're going to look at the groups before also we go into this game, and that means that this time Group D are not going to be a part of the picture. That means Delta Stars, Lotus Esports, Nova Esports, and also XSET. So 3 of the bottom teams as of Delta, Lotus, and Nova are not going to be playing out this game, which I think they need a desperate break, Imperium, because they have not been performing on the level that we wanted to see, especially Delta Stars. I still want to see more, man. I'm sorry, but I need to see more from these guys. 25 eliminations, 65 placement points. The disparity is growing day after day after day to a point where you just cannot miss it. It's just there. It's in front of your eyes, and just like, well, if they don't improve on their eliminations, they're going to stay there.
25 eliminations in what, 23 games? That's what? 1 elimination per game? That's
I'm not sure your math. How many games did you say?
Wait, 4, 8, 12. Sorry, no. We haven't had 20. Sorry, 4, 8, 12. About 15 games. Okay. Either way. Either way. Jeez, I'm having a horrible night. Jesus, God damn it. I'm not having a good night.
I just pulled you out on map. That goes to show what's going on right now.
Who are you, and what have you done with the real Imperium? Yeah, so 20, either way, it's not a good elimination per game count, basically, and that needs to improve. It needs to step up. They're going to hit that brick wall naturally from not being more controlling, being more aggressive in these games. And yes, Sanhok is rough, it's unpredictable, but it also is a big opportunity and a test for Delta Stars if they really want to put themselves out there and show us that they have the cojones, the confidence, the drive to improve their eliminations and their eliminations per game.
Yeah. So Imperium, I want to ask you, so you that are is in a relationship, okay? You should know that. On
Yes, I have a girlfriend. Yes, I do. Thank you for
have those little there's little Facebook posts, where you can sometimes ask about, oh, do you know your partner really well? I'm going to ask you that in terms of casters. Why am I sad that this game's happening like this? Why am I sad with this game right now? Tell me. You should know. If you know me, Imperial. Why am I sad?
Well, you've like many reasons to be sad, so...
Okay, I'm giving the answer because that was too brutal. Yeah, XSET's not playing this game, so we're not going to have the fighting boot camp. Okay, moving on. Cool, I'm having a great night. I'm having a great... This is amazing.
If I'm having a bad night, I'm taking you with me, man.
Okay,
Don't worry, I still love you, dude.
I don't want to talk no more. Yeah. We're gonna ask our production. Scorza, do you want to cast in my stead, please? I gotta go. I have a meeting. I gotta. Kind of.
Do you have a meeting with your pillow?
Yeah. Yes, actually I do. Oh, though that was a meeting with the Vector apparently.
Oh, okay, and another.
Nice. Another one apparently. Hell yeah! I'd love to see those plays happening over here. Painan Loops taking the brunt of it at the end of that one. Chuko able to get himself a nice little knock on the Cardozin. Can they close it off? Can they put the nail in the coffin to already get himself one squad wipe in the first few minutes of this game? No time to res just yet, potentially. Oh, there you go. He's going to go for the res, actually, but ATON do not have that chance. Trying to regroup. Don't have to think they have time to loot up. And yes, spotted out instantly as he goes around the corner. Lucky is out. Now he's down to a 3v2.
Well, you didn't get XSET v Alpha. You were treated to Loops v ATON in Painan. Overall, won by Loops. Only suffering one casualty, ATON suffering two. I even wonder if ATON can fully disengage away from this fight. It feels like they're more going to be backed into a corner. It could work out in their favor because the Loops players have more of a linear position. There's nobody like that's moved across the road, which would be a decent idea if they kind of scale back to the eastern edge of Painan, moved across the water, and then scale back over. It would take a little bit longer time, which in theory would give ATON more time to either disengage fully or react. But either way, I feel like it would give Loops overall a stronger possibility of cleaning out ATON without suffering a casualty.
Unless they get third party by the Chosen. Which is currently happening.
Was that a third party by the Chosen?
Yeah. Godji is on the hilltop over to the western side of Painan. Want to be careful. He's been spotted out, and I think he saw that gun right on his head. So he's like, maybe not going to peek it because his team. When I mean his team is nowhere near his position, I mean they are nowhere near his position. They're like easily 500 meters away, so there's no way they're going to close it off. But that's it for ATON to get clean swooped away. 4 easy elimination go the way of Loops. Well, easy. I say easy. Not really. They fought for it. It was a good fight. Now they get all that juicy loot of Painan for themselves.
Phase 1, quite nice compared to other Sanhok circles and just in general, a little bit similar to the first Sanhok game of the day. There is that little bit of Southwest Island in play and a little bit of Northwest Island, but I can't see it ending up in that area. Not assuming anything, just trying to play on the law of percentages right now. We'll have to wait and see. Either way, Bootcamp Hill, North Painan Hill, kind of Quarry Hill. If you do want to go to the center of the circle, such as Alpha 7, Furious Gaming, and the likes of Team Queso want to go, those are the places to be. Outside of that, you have Paradise Resort, which INCO are in and holding on to in a bit of a 3-1 split. Rise in a pretty comfortable position. And even Black Dragons, I really don't mind where they're located. Maybe sending one across the river would be a bit of a decent anchor point coming into phase 2.
Yeah, I would actually really enjoy that for Black Dragons. Just make sure that at least you have an anchor point created. Even if you want to take that fight towards Painan, which I would not even recommend, but you know that as a fact that this circle is not going to end down there. So make the cross happen early so you can have just an ample opportunity to get multiple good spots under control. I think that'll be good to see. The Alpha 7 already taking a fight. They moved out of boot camp. They were like, there's no XSET. We're going to look for a fight elsewhere. And Team QUESO, on the defending side of things, they had a player scouting out this position for the longest time. I believe it was Kana. And he's like, guys, come here. This is going to be a free kill fest. And so far, the game's off the first. Wait, was that? Wait, how did they get 0? Someone steal it away? Who did that?
Oh, it might have been the Loops player taking his teammate out. That could be in the case. Or INTZ, actually. INTZ with the third party?
Or INCO. It could be INCO, it could be...
INCO?
It could be a lot. It's probably not INTZ. They're in Paradise Resort right now, but it's probably INCO or Black Dragon.
Yeah, INCO, yeah.
That would be the longest distance elimination I think I've ever seen.
Man.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah, I know. I was wondering who's gonna speak first. I love the way you do that sometimes. We're like, yeah.
You go first? No, you go first. You go first. Yeah.
You identify yourself as a man? Okay, cool. That's good to know.
Okay.
Team QUESO did a good job setting up on that North Painan Hill. Loops made a boo-boo, even disengaging away from Painan. They would have been better off committing to Painan.
Okay. What's happening down here? Peek around. He's gonna give himself a 1v3. Oh, don't show your back like that. Oh my god. They're completely fearless in this one. Trying to jump around, and he just got himself a 1v3. I was not expecting that.
Okay. Great by Fear, and in general, great for ESTORM, a team that being relatively passive. It was nice to see them take an early game fight. Yes, it kind of came to them rather than them going to the fight. But either way, I hope that shows to them that they have the ability, they have the, overall teamwork, because it's not like Fear was completely on his own. He did have some decent backline support, but I really hope that gives him the confidence to be a little bit more aggressive, because they know they can win fights. They can take these engagements.
Yeah, they've shown they can take those fights really well, as you said, Imperium, but it's depending on how they rotate and how they position themselves, and they don't make themselves any favors, which is very unfortunate. Nice little nade from Golden, attempted to try and push him away from that coverage. Even though it did not go the way he wanted, it did work in some way, shape, or form. So Golden, that's going to be his next kill. This game still in phase. This is slow. You would not feel that we're still in phase 1, but we are. I'm not messing around. Okay, this is not on the optical illusion right now that you see on the top right of your screen. We are in fact still in phase 1, and this game feels so slow. What's happening?
Really?
Yeah.
I think it feels fast. Like I think we're in phase 3. Yeah, it kind of feels like we're in phase 3. I'm looking at this going, really? We're still in phase 1. We're only 8 minutes into the game. Because we do seem to have this like consistent element of action as Alpha 7 engage on towards BULUC.
Yeah.
I just don't get why so many teams are committing to the center of the circle. It's a pattern that I'm seeing, and I think it's a big reason why LATAM and kind of North America, for the most part, I kind of want to say outside of Alpha 7, but overall why they are struggling on a more global stage. Because it's not really fully fitting with the global meta. It might work in this individual region in its own way, but in a global stage, it's really it overall.
Oh, Ferdinand, come on, give us a little surprise. Oh no, he got up. I think he made a little bit of an audio cue. Diego has that nade in hand, right on top of Ferdinand, down to about 50% HP.
Gosh.
He tries to run away, but luckily enough, the rest of BULUC CHABTAN is there to back him up. Hopefully get him back into safe position, but a little bit too fast, Cielo. That was a little bit of an overcommit. That res is, unfortunately for him, not going to happen, I'm pretty sure, unless the entirety of BULUC CHABTAN is taken away. It's a third party. INCO Gaming, no, this is not where you want to be. Second knock going down, VIVO keyed. If you know any better, you would leave this position, which is exactly what they do. This fight is lost. Get back to the high grounds and remain up there for the time being.
And even a team like VIVO Key just going a little bit too heavily. I don't mind them rotating kind of onto the camp hill, but they didn't really need to like massively engage, just hold back. use the information you get in phase 1 to dictate a little bit more heavily leading into phase 2, especially when they were a little bit late moving into that position. But either way, phase 2 pops up and it does shift over quite heavily to the west, so that Northwest Island is still in play. Luckily, the biggest chunk of that Southwest Island is in play, so it still looks to be a bit of a mainland. It could be heading towards boot camp. Just one thing to highlight.
It could. You know, of course, because of the water also onto the western side, there's a big chance it's going to center or center up. North or south, always going to go over to the more eastern side. So I think teams should try and prepare. I'm looking at ESTORM, and I'm looking at VIVO Keys, even INCO, The Chosen, and even Black Dragons that have yet to cross that road. They got to be careful and try. Yeah, Black Dragons, you mentioned it also, I think, at the very start of phase 1, that it would be nice to see them cross because there's no way the circle's going to end up on the west. They have yet to make that rotation happen. It is a bit slow, in my opinion, for Black Dragons. I would like to see things speed up a little bit.
True. But I also, to an extent, prefer compared to teams that went so deep into center circle, such as BULUC, VIVO Keyed, for example, and even to a tiny extent, INCO. Although INCO were able to at least pick up 3 eliminations and only lose 1 player, so a bit of a decent return on investment inside the first couple of circles. Influence Rage, Furious Gaming, Honored Souls, all on the eastern side of the circle, around Quarry. So seems like it's going to be a bit of a 3-way dance. Rise Esports, if they spread out heavily enough, could get a bit of a cheeky kind of 4th party shots from a distance. Nothing really massively engaging. For the time being, Furious Gaming, off the back of losing a player, just laying down low a little bit.
I think I've never heard the words 4th party in a day this much. You know what? Not going to need a 4th party to get rid of Law, apparently. Good stuff from Tiger Zin. But try to commit for the flush. Not what you want to do, mate. And that's it. Luckily enough, maybe his team can be of some assistance. Oh, actually, no, I take it back. No, he's done. He's done. There you go. Bye-bye, Law. But
I gotta give props to Honored Souls, by the way.
Yep.
They initially sent Pederino across the road, but the second they heard those shots, they sent them back because they want to try and keep themselves up as full squad. I wouldn't have minded that Pederino being across the road. I think it wouldn't have been the angle enough to push in onto this fight.
Let's go. Honored Souls going for it. Milovan waiting in the wing. Getting himself a little bit of a surprise shot. And whoa, that pre-fire was disgusting. Luckily enough for Kowalski, that did not work out, but how the hell did he know he was going to be there? Woo, big plays, gets the first aid kit. Influence Rage down to now 3 if they get the res in time. Honored Souls are not going to give up on this fight. They want every single elimination they might be able to get, but Kowalski not able to put enough of an opposition. Now they're down to 1. Lawboy, let's see if he can deal with the wrath of Honored Souls. Nade in hand already, ready to throw it right through that door. Maybe get himself a successful nade. Let's go the entire way there. But get himself enough damage. Just trying to push out, got himself the first aid kit in time, but no, there is no escape. And that's it for the side of Influence Rage, eliminated by Honored Souls.
Great opportunistic play from Honored Souls. It hurts and it's sad to see them still lose a player in that 3rd-party engagement. It really does. It hurts that they still lost a player, but overall they executed it very cleanly. As I said, moving Pederino across from where he initially rotated over to the other side of the road was really well reacted off the back of the shots being fired. And yeah, now they're able to, in somewhat, close into the southeastern edge of the circle. Phase 3 goes up north. ESTORM Gaming in the perfect high ground position. I like that VIVO Keyed went into boot camp as a duo.
Yeah. I was going to say, and I fully agree with your point, it's the perfect position ESTORM currently have under control, and VIVO Keyed was a smart play because they know, look, we don't have the man advantage, we don't want to take the fights head on. We're just going to get in a position and hopefully avoid detection. Seems like that plan is not going to work out because INCO full-on rushed inside of boot camp, so they might be seeking out those 2 extra eliminations if they have the chance. But I'm looking on the eastern side of the map, and here you go, Alpha 7 and Rise getting closer and closer by the second. What was that shot coming out from Mufasa? Unfortunately, nothing comes of it. While inside the building, not going to get too much done. Mufasa trying to nade the side. And early shots connected for Evo. But on the offside, you've got to be careful because off angles galore go the way of Rise.
Perfect.
He's already looking for the second, looking for Carrillo. But Alpha 7 have yet to regroup here.
That was brilliant by Rise. Fantastic. Mufasa nearly got himself knocked. That nade that he kind of pre-fired, he was forced to go the other side, and then he got a couple of shots in his direction. Moving on to VIVO Keyed. INCO did send 2 players down. They then sent the third. I think based off the fact that the Chosen was coming up on towards the other side of Bootcamp Hill. So VIVO, I think, heard those shots and had to move down to Bootcamp Hill. Just that kind of domino effect. Either way, it's benefited VIVO Keyed.
Yeah, I mean, third party from the Chosen has been definitely helping out, so... BT2K, we saw him clutch it out at the start of the day with that game. Odds are this one's going to be a little bit tougher to deal with. A little bit of a tougher... I was going to say cookie to crack, but no, it's tough nut to crack. That's the one. I guess you could crack cookies too. I don't know.
To crumble.
Probably just hungry also. Yeah, yeah. Or just
Crumble
hungry.
cookies.
Oh, we'll see. Okay. Vendrijo waiting. Oh, going for a little bit of a split. Can he get himself a double? Puts them both low. That's one. Got to switch over to the left side. Doesn't do it in due time. It was a rough fight from the beginning, Imperium. There was no way that's going to work out. But Black Dragon suffer 1 casualty. Blue zone. Starting to tick hard. About to go into phase 4. You need to move your way in circle ASAP.
No, Honor Souls have some pretty big mistakes that they need to correct. There's absolutely no reason why they needed to go down however they went down. They cleaned up that fight in a third-party opportunity way. They should have looked to scale around the eastern edge of the circle. I'm not even trying to kind of say that just because I have the kind of God's eye view of knowing where everybody is. When you're in an engagement in the first 3 to 4 circles, I know it was a pretty quick engagement overall, but you waste that time that you're able to grab information. So therefore, you need to be a little bit more sensible on how you move into the edge of that current circle. Honor Souls clearly made big mistakes, and it's a consistent pattern that we're seeing from them. Oh. And it's going to hurt them massively coming into the last couple of the days.
Well, this circle's going to hurt, I think, most of the teams in this lobby, except for ESTORM, that right now have the position. If they do not decide to move and retreat up north, which from how they're playing right now, I do not think that's the case. They're going to commit to this little hilltop position. They have such a huge potential here, Imperium, and clearly they're going to try and use it to get as many eliminations as possible. First team that's going to be coming their way is INTZ. They're also trying to wrap around the side, sending one player a little bit further wide onto the east. Try and maybe get that surprise factor, but ESTORM, the storm is now coming your way. We'll see if they can deal with the wrath with of these teams.
Rise, disengaging away from Black Dragons, need to be careful they don't get stabbed in the back. They have very few vehicles, actually no vehicles that they can utilize, so they're all on foot. There's also another thing that I've noticed with the kind of LATAM North America region. They don't really use that many vehicles in Sanhok. Compared to the global meta, where we're seeing more and more vehicles being used, it's less likely to be used, at least in this tournament so far.
Yeah, I have the impression they're mainly used for very small rotation, like leapfrog almost positions that their teams try and use them. Like what we're seeing from INTZ right now, just leapfrog across the road, be able to have in position, which I'm not against. Personally, if I was playing the game myself in these circumstances, that's how I would use cars itself, because I find it relatively risky. So I'm not against this type of meta around cars in Sanhok, but it did apparently hurt the approach of INTZ. That's one player knocked. They're going to put full on focus, and we saw how Rise dominated the fight earlier versus Alpha 7. So this one shouldn't be any different. Oh, well, that nade unfortunately said something else about it, apparently. It happens to most of us. I don't know if you
noticed that rotation from Black Dragons, but they just sent 2 players in a vehicle just straight through the center of the circle. Yeah, straight through that roadside in the center. Didn't get engaged upon. 2 of their 4 players are in the compound on the north that's unoccupied. That's a ballsy play. Sometimes the direct shift, the direct push, that stage in the game with the few players that are left alive can work.
Yeah, man, their corners are so huge they create gravity. I can tell you that much. BT2K though, here you go, taking a fight. We said this guy can clutch it out, but not this time around. Feels bad, man. Team QUESO trying to get involved a little bit furthermore. We want to see a good fight from the Chosen. They started giving it to us. Maybe I started jinxing it a little bit. Chosen down to 1. Got the blanket of smoke to try and create some good defensive walls. An early pre-fired jump shot right behind the wall. One more bullet is all he needs to go down. Can he connect it? That's one for Oppa, but the rest of Team QUESO go for the push, and that's it. That's the end for 2 players of the Chosen. There's still one more player, but is nowhere near this fight.
VIVO Key gonna hear those shots. The blue zone is coming to the tail end, and it does kind of shift a little bit close. The nades are flying in by McGrellan. Connects underneath to. Bye-bye is now the only player. Luckily for him, he's outside of the warehouse. But do the rest of VIVO Key know where he is? I think they have a big idea. To go full frontal. He's gonna get knocked.
Yes. Let's go, Santa. This is what we want to see. Man, the timing was maybe a little bit off, but the attempt was there, and they were able to stop INCO Gaming earlier. They were pushing them as a 3-man Imperium, as an absolute 3-man, and they do it once again onto Team QUESO, and it was even the Chosen joining the mix, all while getting gate kept by Alpha 7 / also ESTORM that are on that little plateau up northeast of bootcamp. So a lot of things were going against VIVO Key, but they keep on getting those good results, these good fights, get into the late game extremely consistently, which is why you see them currently standing so high up in the rankings, currently in that 2nd place. We'll see if they can make things move up even more. I mean, sorry.
I like how ESTORM have spread themselves out, but once again, there's no real fight. There's no real control. They're hoping other teams around them outside the circle take each other out. And it's okay, but it's just not good enough. I'm sorry, ESTORM. It's just not good enough right now.
Yeah, they're getting pushed. They're just getting... They feel like a ragdoll. They're just getting moved wherever you want to put them. Right now, you want to put them on the back front where they're about to get pushed over the lip of the hill. And if so, Black Dragons are just going to look at this like, oh, 3 kills. Look at that. Pretty easy. And look at that. I mean, this is not Black Dragons. It's Rising particular, but same thing. You're pushing them over the lip of the hill. You're having the recreation of the Lion King right now. And there's no way for them to escape. And now they're ready to take the fight, but it's too late, mate. You're getting pushed up. You're getting surrounded by teams. Rise and Alpha 7 are 2 extremely aggressive teams. They're not going to allow these type of mistakes to pay off. So yeah, ESTORM could have had a literally amazing game, but they just do not play the way they should have.
It's a circle of life. A vicious circle, a vicious cycle as esports go down. Rise Mythic, 1 or 2 players up. He's not even worrying about healing up. He's just like, nade here, nade there. Screw it. I'm going down fighting. Can he get the revive teammate? He has no time. He's wasted it. The blue zone of phase 6 is starting to close in. His teammate gives him a first aid. That's what you want to see. It's like, you take it. Move on, my child. Survive. Avenge me.
I remember this exact circle from PMPL Western Europe, and where VIVO Key are, if they can get access to the coastal line, that could be a game-winning play from them. They could get themselves a back-to-back. We'll see if they can make it happen. There you go, Alpha 7. Get rid of the side of Rise. All of the players get absolutely decimated, and now we're down to the top 3. Alpha 7 just shy of a double-digit kill count. Might just make things go their way, but VIVO Key do not decide to commit to the coastal line Imperium. They are committing to the high ground. They want to take it away from Alpha 7. That is a ballsy play. I'm not sure if I enjoy it, but it's something. It's something, I can tell you that much.
It's not a commitment. It was a bit of a split. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Maybe you want to try and get access to the coastal line. Oh, he's trying to get there, but the high ground position has been given away. Black Dragon, he's bossed him out, though. 1 full clip. Wait, what?
What?
Got that. Okay, we'll see. Apparently Ragnar will roll back, but that's fine. Get himself 1. Instantly confirms that frag because he knows there's a very low chance he's going to make it out alive of that one. He's got himself access to a nice little ridge line, but the circle not quite in his favor. Imperium 1v3 plus he has to push. If he steals this game away like they did last game, I don't know. This is a moment where you want to do a bet because it just seems so unlikely, but you never know because it is VIVO Key. They made it once, they could do it again.
He can play and use the rocks to his advantage to at least try and pull a bit of a surprise engagement.
Oh, over the side, and Nicholas gets it with a UMP, and that's it. Black Dragon able to finally secure their very first chicken dinner here for the America's Elite League Season 3. And all of that Imperium, you caught in mind the middle of that game, off the back of one of the most insane, ballsy plays we have seen so far in the day, just going straight through that middle pass, and yet they made it out alive. And that play sure was risky, but it paid off in the end, and gave them the best position in the circle. Big heads up to them, but I want to see still more. I want to see some consistency. Now we want to see momentum. You get yourself a huge chicken dinner. I want to see some top 3s, top 5s happening after this.
Yeah, exactly. In the previous game, I forget exactly what result they got, but it wasn't, I think it was a 0-pointer actually, yeah, in the previous Erangel game. I don't know if they're playing in the next game. I think they are, but you are dead right.
Yeah.
We just continue to reiterate and echo that consistency needs to be followed up. It was a great game overall in Sandhawk. The circle shifting more towards bootcamp was a little bit of a surprise. However, I saw the indication of it potentially shifting towards bootcamp all the way from phase 2, and we saw some teams react to that pretty well. Black Dragons, though, they made a big ballsy move, initially sending 2 players in that vehicle straight through the middle, cut through on that northern compound. That's what gave the dinner, because they were able to grab information that the 2 other players down south were able to utilize, and they kept themselves up as a full squad right until the end.
Yeah, you might want to talk about their method and contest them a little bit, but you know what? One thing we can't do in Imperium is argue with results. Because right now here, 25 points for Black Dragons. That is going to be a huge leap forward. Black Dragons at the start of the day started off with 44 points. They had a very decent game 1, I believe it was. And here they're able to give themselves another decent result. So we're seeing some amount of life coming from this team. How is that going to actually reflect in the overall rankings? We'll have to see later on. But this is at least the type of step up that we want to see from Black Dragons. So really happy about that one. But we have to mention VIVO Key at Imperium again. Like, the fact that they defended, what was that, 3 teams pushing right through bootcamp as a duo? I have the impression, even in a 1v4, in a finishing moment where the last player's on 1 HP, I'll still be like, that's never going to happen. But it's VIVO Key. So, hey, who knows?
I don't know. I'm disappointed in VIVO Key. They only got 20 points. They have an average of 23.5. I expected 24 points in this game minimum. No, I joke. I genuinely joke, of course.
Come on.
Yeah, but I'm also kind of not surprised that VIVO Key did well in this game because of what has happened so far in this tournament. It was unfortunately not the result that Influence Rage wanted to see, not only from themselves but also VIVO Key and Alpha Esports, because in this final game, Influence Rage aren't playing, so they're also going to have that game where VIVO Key and Alpha Esports will technically get like 100% more points in that.
Yeah. Magaram Lindo from the side of VIVO Key, they would get himself 7 eliminations on his lonesome. Amazing performance once again. Though Mythic, I have the impression is just a player that we consistently see perform for the side of Rise. If there's one player of Rise that's been doing great, most of the time he's going to be Mythic. His team set him up really, really well for success, don't get me wrong, but Mythic as an individual player has been popping the hell off for the past 2 days now. On the side, Jigo, our boy Jigo of Viva 2K, also going to be up there in terms of top assists. So we're seeing consistently names be super redundant on these top players every single time in Imperium. And not too surprised, we're starting to see some players that in the past are getting good result after good result after good result. These guys, if they make it to PMPL, those are the guys I'm going to look at and say, you know what, they can make it to PMGC because they are just beginning their adventure.
Yeah, 150%. Rise, man, they're really stepping up overall. They're still a little bit too much of a push, and they need to scale back a little bit. But that raw talent is there. They evolve it. They will qualify for PMGC.
Oh wow! Oh, okay. That's a big call. That is a big call. But I like big calls like that. That's a cool thing. So we'll see. We'll clip that. We'll see in like a year's time if that's going to become reality. I mean, not even a year's time. Like what? 10 months? Man, it goes. We're already 2 months in 2022. What the hell is going on? That's an insane one. But yeah, we'll see how things are going to be panning out here on our top players. But that was a good one to see how things are going to pan out. We still got one more game left before we end our 4th day here, or week 2, day 2. I know you want me to call it like that. I'll call it like that just for you, okay? Because you're so special. Yeah, our last game here, and I would like to see, we still got some teams that I would like to see a little bit more from. I have the impression, though, and I would love to know if you agree or not, I have the impression we've seen a little bit more life coming from the Chosen here. So we'll see if they can try and build upon that in our next game that's going to be happening. And it's going to be happening right after this break, so stay tuned.
Hello? Vous êtes bien chez Julien Fournier Rock Couture. Love is magic. Metaverse is amazing.
On.
And here we are, ready for the final game of the day for Week 2, Day 2 here of the Americas Elite League Season 3 2022. And after this game, Imperium, we are officially at the 50% mark of the tournament. And you know that when you start to hit that 50% mark, it's a lot harder, it's a lot tougher to move your way in the overall rankings. I'm talking about those. We're going to see the teams at the top that seem absolutely unstoppable right now. And VIVO Kid once again making a splash, securing that 2nd place. And now starting to create a little bit of a cushion in that 1st place with 208 points so far.
First team to reach that 200 bomb, and they're looking good. However, Alpha 7, 110 eliminations, like that's nearly 20 ahead of their closest rivals, VIVO Kid and Rise Esports. On the side of Rise, their stats correlate to what I said just before break, right? In terms of just cleaning up the smaller execution parts and being aware when they need to be aggressive and when they don't need to be aggressive. That will allow them to grab a few extra placement points without losing those elimination points. And like I said, they'll rise up the ranks and they continue on that path. PMGC is theirs in 2022.
The thing that scares me right now is that you're looking at Alpha 7 in their 3rd place and 4th place Nova Esports. You're starting to see a pretty big disparity in point, and we're only halfway through. So if this starts and continues to build up, we're going to see a position where maybe VIVO Keyed, Influence Rage, Alpha 7 are just at a point where it's almost impossible to catch up to them, like maybe 2 days before the end of the event. So we'll see if Nova, Rise, INCO Gaming can make that comeback happen. And Rise, I mean, you call them out, Imperium, as qualifying to PMGC this year. Seems likely, seeing how good of a performance they've been having so far in the tournament.
Yeah.
They need to look with an absolute bang. If they could try and close that gap once again to get close to the top 3. But one advantage that Influence Rage is not playing this game, so at least that could be your next goalpost to try and reach the top 3 for the next few games.
Yeah, Group E not participating in this final game of the day, so Influence Rage, as you highlighted, INTZ, Think Ace, and Lazarus. This once again is, and I think you're with me on this, a call to arms for the teams down at the bottom to pick their pace up. Delta Stars, Lotus, even to an extent, Furious Gaming, The Chosen, ESTORM, Honored Souls. Wanna see more from you this game, the final game of the day. We have another broadcast day tomorrow, so it's kind of like we're going from day to day, and I think that'll be a good sign. So if you can end this day on a high note, it will lead you into tomorrow with just a little bit more confidence in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any other time than now to scream at the top of your lungs for Narnia while rushing on the enemy, you probably want to do it right now before hitting the 50% mark of the tournament, because otherwise things are going to get a little bit more tricky for you to climb back up the rankings. We mentioned a list of teams in Imperium, so I do not have to do it again. These guys need to make sure they can close off with a bang, or otherwise start tomorrow with a good day, because it will be even worse if the teams are not able to move away from those bottom spots after 5 days of play. It would be absolutely horrendous for these guys. So what I can do is hope and pray for these guys to make the changes needed. We've seen some change from ESTORM. You know, there was some good plays from them every once in a while, but we still remember that big throw on Sanhok. That should have been their game, or at least they should have got himself a top 3 minimum. The Chosen, we saw a little bit more fight in them. Some clean third parties, which I think they understood that when it comes to head-on-head fights, they struggle a little bit. So why not just take the opportunities? You see a fight happening from a distance, get close, steal all the frags away, and get points that way. It's a valid option and way of doing it. But it's not one that's going to be allowing you to aim for the top. So I think they're just going for something that can work for the time being, but in the long run, it's not going to be worthwhile. So we need to see step-ups. We're going back to Arango Imperium. It's the OG map. We have some really fun games right now, but I have the impression that things have slowed down at the end of the day. Some teams are going a lot more passive, but Imperium, I'm sorry, we got 45 seconds, you know, before the end of the game. We haven't done prediction in a while. Okay, I want to say, is there a team that you would like to see make it in top 3 here? Maybe a bottom team or a top team, like whoever you want. Who's your prediction here?
Can I pick 2?
Okay, yeah, fair.
Chosen and Lotus. The reason why I'm picking those two is outside the fact that they are low down on the rankings. When we go back to the PMPL North America qualifiers, they finished 1st and 2nd. The Chosen in 1st, Lotus Esports in 2nd. So coming into the PMPL, they are like, of the teams that we're looking to qualify, the highest 2 qualified teams. They're being made look like mincemeat in this tournament so far overall. So coming into this last game, one of those 2, top 3, let's go, guys.
Normally I like to go for underdog teams. I'm going to be going for VIVO Keyed and Alpha 7. I'm putting all the odds on my side. There you go. Gonna go.
Is your name Jason Kaplan?
But hey, you're really gonna get written off, man. I'm just he's watching this like he's doing it again.
I just asked you if your name was Jason Kaplan. You know, if you correlate
that's directly talking smack.
You know.
No, Imperium. There's no escape. You can't do this. No escape from the Jason Kaplan. No. But yeah, pretty southern playing path. Please. Pretty southern playing path currently happening over from Mill to Power all over to the western side of Gatka/Quarry. So some teams might have a little bit of a rougher time to get to their positions, might even see Alpha 7 go to their secondary drop, which is Lipovka, which is what they are currently doing, which is a completely valid option for them. But the team that usually contest that position in the past is in the lobby, so just got to be careful how they approach it, but I do not think that Loops want to fully commit and might go to the prison area instead. Yeah,
it's nice to see some adaptation coming from few of these teams. XSET still in Milta. However, one of the players is looking to kind of contest Honored Souls. At least one of the Honored Souls players on that West of Farm split. Polo G, it is indeed. I don't know why he'd really look to push that. No helmet, no vest. Yeah, you're asking for trouble. I think he knows his number is up, so he's just hoping for a bit of a golden aid. He does have a gun at least to utilize.
Yeah, M16 though, not the best type of scenarios. Trying to for fuel shots. Gets close. Oh yeah, versus a UMP. There's no way. God wins that every single day of the week normally. There's no way. Unless he wins those little peak shots. Then maybe Apology could win it out, but otherwise that should not go away from Honored Souls.
Technically, but the M16 on burst is a pretty dangerous gun.
It is a dangerous one. I'm not saying it isn't, but when you're versus a UMP, normally the UMP should win it 90% of the time, and especially if it's a 1v2, I believe the M16 is not going to be enough right now in Imperium. Okay, so we'll see how it is. Gonna go for the engage. He said, what? Oh my god, I got scared for a second. I thought I was about to eat my words. Gonna get punched to the cemetery, and that's it. Honored Souls survive a very stressful situation. Okay. Even they don't like the
M16. Two teams. Out of the two teams in that situation that I thought was going to kind of back their teammate up, I wasn't really expecting it to be Honored Souls. However, I got to give them props. They reacted quickly, and I suppose that also echoes what we saw in the previous game when they third-partied in Sanhok. We move on over to the fight between Rise and The Chosen. Why do you like to be so stubborn, The Chosen? Why do you continue to make life so difficult for yourselves? Why? Please answer me. Why? Please. I'd just like to know.
Good question. Good question. That is all I can add. That Imperium, I do not know. At least they got himself one frag, so I guess it's a little bit of an even trade, but still, when you use a player this early on at just about 3-minute mark, like, you're already shutting down your odds of a chicken dinner by a severe percentage. So
yeah,
don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. So still hoping that for the day that The Chosen changes that up. It's good. It takes me back, and it really takes me back to like those old DRS/Archer gaming moments in PMGC 2021 league stage, where they just kept dropping the entire league stage for like 4 weeks straight, dropping the exact same position every single time and dying early almost every single time.
Wait,
and I'm seeing that.
I mean, 2020, not 2021.
Sorry, yeah, 2020. Yeah. Oh man, it's true. It was even further back than that. What the hell?
Yeah. God, we're getting old, man. We're getting old.
And yeah, I think people can see it with my hairline on camera. Yeah, I am. I'm indeed. Feels bad. Time flies by. A hair, I just keep digging my grave every time.
Anyway,
it's like my subconscious bullying me. So, I know, it's so weird.
On a side note, one thing that as we see in our screens, the stats from Revo,
pushing it,
35 eliminations. So out of the team's 110, he's got 35. That's about a quarter. So it kind of shows that Alpha 7 have been very kind of like supportive of each other when it comes to the eliminations.
I don't even want to hype up this fight. I'm just, why?
I know, that's why I wasn't really like talking about it, because I just, there's nothing really to add to this. Yes, okay, it's good for Rise that they're overall winning the fight and all that jazz, but why do you think we low-key alluded in previous days and previous games that it's technically free kills for Rise?
Yeah. There's going to be a sneaky third party happening from BULUC CHABTAN though. And I'm pretty sure that these reses, even if they do come to fruition, they're not going to have time to first aid up. If the push happens now, BULUC CHABTAN wins that most of the time. There you go, they're inside the building. Trying to peek maybe a bit of information. Gets one back up. Mythic though, maybe not the same story. Takes a lot of damage. Good nade, so that's going to slow down the ascent of BULUC CHABTAN.
No
That's
way.
good, but there's another staircase. There's another staircase happening. So you can try and go for the wide wraparound, but they're going to have enough time to get for the double res. They go, oh, there. Rafina's going to get knocked back once again. Trying to push down here. And Mythic, 2 first aids. Going to try and pop himself one, but you know he's about to get pushed. There's no way he's going to survive that one. He does. Oh, no, from behind. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, what's going on, Ferdinand?
I like that.
M249 gets the peak from Mythic, and
Clean.
that's done and dusted. See you later.
We haven't really had much time to talk about this phase on Circle on a side note. It's a bit of a boring circle, of course. A little bit on the west, but for the most part, it encapsulates a good chunk of the central part of the map. Headshot Hills, ruins, areas kind of somewhat in the center. South of Pachinki, probably a pretty good area to hold on to. Of course, the plane path was quite south, so Everest, I don't think is as important of an area to hold down to begin with, depending on where Phase 2 shifts to. Lotus Esports starting to move away from Primorsk in the next 30 seconds or so, while VIVO Keyed continue to loot up around Hospital.
That's the way. Well, Imperium, can we do can we do a promise to one another? Can we do that right now? Is that okay with you?
Yes.
We never.
What kind of
again.
promise is that?
Like we never during this America's Elite League. Okay, season 3. Never again do we mention the chosen drop. Never. You just stop. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
I just say we stop. Time. Is that good?
Until
handshakes.
Yeah, firm handshakes. I thought you were gonna ask, you know, if we're both single when we're 40 that we get married. I thought you were gonna ask something like that.
It's probably gonna happen to me, not to you, man. So hey,
Hey, well, I'm 40 before you, so you know.
It's true. It's true. That's it. You're speed running it. It's all good. But no, I think that's a good promise. Even if they win the fight, we don't make
Yeah, it is a good promise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until they show us different throughout the games, yeah, it doesn't deserve to be mentioned. So I'm with you on that one. What does deserve to be mentioned is Loop's going up against ATON on Potato Hill, for the most part, starting to win the fight.
The altercation happening right now. Loops. I was about to say that's going to be a tricky one to escape from. Loops now down to 2, while Aton trying to reposition a tad. Down to 3. Lucky was taken out. That nade could be good one. Gets a little bit of damage done on the play of Loops. He jumps up, shows his position for a split second. Maybe not the best moment to jump up, my friend. But on the left side, he gets the res. Chief is there, getting the damage done, but Chuko will survive it. Tree, gotta be careful. They're trying to go for the push right now. They get it. Nice angle from Chuko, but Loop on the lip of the heel. Gonna peek on over. Garadozin gets 1.
Chief!
Aton are down to Milos, and only Milos. And Chief is there. Garadozin to maybe make the plays happen. The fight was not to their advantage initially. They turned it on its head. It's on the backside with the M4. Not sure if he has the increased ammo capacity. If he does, that could make this 1v2 clutch a lot easier, but he's against an M249 and an M4. 2 loadout style, not very forgiving. Yes, and he doesn't get punished for it. You saw Chief for a split second. What a spray! But Chief did not get knocked though. Just on literally 1 HP, and Chief instantly moves his way back. Looking on the background, you still have Fran96 just giving that information, feeding the intel forward. Maybe making that nade a lot easier to hit.
Fortunately, in that time, the revive came through. And they're up as a 3-person squad. Heals all around. Nate comes out. Executes Aton. Good effort. But in the end, just not enough kind of do or die. And he hesitated towards the end off the back of the second knock.
Yeah, very good effort, actually, I would say. But you know what? Clutches are hard to do for a reason. And that's it for VIVO Keyed. Get picked up by QZ of Nova. Out of nowhere. Out of left field. Let's see if I'm over there. A little good, strong position. Take a few shots. Very easy frag for them to connect. This circle, as you said, Imperial Mill, I wouldn't say boring, but it's very... It's just It's very normal. I don't know if that's like an insult or compliment. I don't know, but teams have dealt with these circles time and time again. So I would like to see some good stuff on these teams, but I'm not seeing anyone in particular here, which is a little bit surprising. I would like to see one team at least go there, scout it out.
Yeah, fully agree. I don't get why VIVO Key committed like so deep to rotation in phase 2 like that. I don't know exactly what got them to that point, but they paid the ultimate price. You're right about nobody being in the South Chinky Hill. It's very weird. Lotus hanging around the Chopsticks area in the southwestern edge of the circle. ESTORM Gaming a little bit in front of them, but Lotus are disengaging away. BULUC, you can see looking at the sightlines of XSET. Weird places to hold on to in this circle in phase 2. I don't know why, but I just kind of look at those and go, these aren't really optimal areas of the circle to hang around on. They're not bad, but I'm not like super impressed by them, especially BULUC.
I love how Reyes and Madden are just running laps in their supercars. Okay, we get it. Okay, you won the gacha. Okay, we get it. Cool enough. But now the circle shifts heavily down southwest. I know, Imperial, me too. I cry every night when I think that I don't have the McLaren. It's fine. But Pajiki here in play. No one has yet to really go there, though I do believe that we're seeing south. Black Dragon could get that position under control super easily without even having to fight. So that should be a very, very easy position to control for them.
It's just when I saw them driving around, it just reminds me of when you're a kid and you have one of those like toy cars and you're just kind of like on any little material you can get your hands on. You're like, just driving around. That's what it looked like with BULUC is Alpha 7. Come on, keep it together. You don't need to crash into each other. They're going for a bit of a 3-1 split, which is absolutely perfect because that building that the one player is in, actually, no, he's actually joining up with the rest of his squad. I was going to say if they had a 3-1 split, that would have worked out wonderfully. Squad being where they are, I also get that.
Oh, J7 little peek over the side. The loop's not going to really overstay their welcome. There's a lot of good potential positions to play from, but I love this split from Nova. It's a risky one. It could be really risky if anyone decides to push onto the church area. That's Zifan basically done.
Yeah.
But he's taking shots. He's pretty aggressive about it. So he's just making sure that teams think, oh, that's a squad there. We're not going to take that fight. I think is a really, really strong defense on Zifan. That is exactly how you should play in that kind of position.
Puff your chest up. I say, I'm a big boy. I've got big, powerful guns, and I've got more than one person with me. It's just how you play it when you're going for a split movement. We've seen it from teams. We've seen it from more global teams, and it's nice to see it in this America's Elite League. Loops were able to conquer, I believe, one of the BULUC players, but that leaves BULUC in a bit of a kind of a 1-1-1 split as they really fail to find a place to call home inside this phase number 3. Lotus continuing to lay low, which I consider not a bad thing, but also not really a good thing. Similar with ESTORM. Furious Gaming on the northern side, also not bad, but Delta Stars, similar to ESTORM, similar to Lotus, just there, just in the game so far.
Yeah, love that INCO were able to go also for the eastern side of Pachinki Hill, so that's really good. Though, seeing the circle, there's a big chance that both teams are going to have to move away. So, especially if you're Black Dragon, I would not move away instantly in response to the circle shift. I would just wait it out and defend versus INCO, because INCO are going to have to cross the little valley area, or they're going to have to go for the wide wraparound east, or even west, but I think west would be very tricky because you're going to be spotted out by Black Dragon. So, Black Dragon have some potential to be a team that gatekeeps and gets a lot of eliminations very early on, unless apparently the circle ends up coming their way. So no big need to move, but now they've got to be careful because the main threat for Black Dragons, the Imperium, has shifted to the north. Looking at BULUC, CHABTAN, Alpha 7, ESTORM, and even Lotus. Those teams could be running right onto their position.
And honestly, I get what you were coming from talking about INCO's position before that circle shift. Is not expecting this big southeastern shift. How many will commit to Pachinki? Right now, XSET, Nova, Just 2 on their soul down on their South Pachinki position. Alpha 7 gonna wait, bide their time, but they have to go up that hill onto the western edge of the circle. And where they are right now, it provides very limited information. That's why they're just waiting, biding their time, and seeing if they can spot any kind of opportunity to either engage or get into the circle.
Can't complain with that play. The Delta Stars are fragger and hit the knee. A lot of teams gonna have a little bit of a rough spot here. Northern side, Delta Stars versus Furious Gaming. So for a little bit of advantage here, still up as 3. There are 2 other players on the other side, and they're not really healthy. That's Delta Stars losing 1, down to 1 player now. Okay, it's gonna also got picked up. And out of nowhere, the turnaround is here. Furious Gaming still have 1 player too far away. The res is coming through slowly but surely. Will he have time to get over to the off angle? They hear the footsteps. I believe the res just got stopped there. Did it get cancelled? It did.
It did.
He's going to be able to get close enough. There you go. Gets a little bit of damage. Gets the hit marker. He moves out. The res comes on through. Now it's down to a 1v2. Puts them both extremely low. And Delta Stars down to 1 once more. And it goes out to the side of Furious Gaming. That's the double. Just what you need. Furious Gaming still in the game.
I know Furious Gaming hasn't had the best of runs so far in this tournament, but that's the difference between a team that wants to win a team fight and wants to just hope to survive. Furious Gaming want to be the reason why they do well. Delta Stars want other teams to fail for the reason why they do well. Have the cojones to go for the 1v1 Delta Stars. Maybe they didn't have the full information, but yeah, it was just... It is what it is. It just is what it is.
That's okay. ESTORM going straight for the warehouse, held on so far by Honored Souls. Thing is, you know that teams are playing Pachinki Hill, so that is a very, and I mean very risky play to go for. If it works out, great, and you can just go inside the building, heal off, that's huge, but right now that is not going to be an easy fight, actually very far from that. Loops, lose 1. Garadozins get spotted away. Gotta be careful, we still got another player, 2 players actually of Loops still ahead on the side of the road. Picks up his ally, and that means that you cannot fight back, you cannot shoot back Imperium in this form.
Yeah.
So if Loops spotted him out, that is an instant double frag, and there you go, you get spotted away in a distance, not by the side of Loops, but actually by BULUC CHABTAN. And that is going to be 2 players of Alpha 7 instantly taken down.
ESTORM pushing when they did into Honored Souls' compound. I don't know whether that timing was right, but I do have to give them props, right? I highlighted them as a team that were afraid to push. Credit where it's due. They pushed. They went for the compound breach, and I hope it works out for them. Plus, with the circle shift going down south, their compound is pretty much the only compound inside the circle. And INCO, yeah, Pachinki Hill, baby. This game is theirs.
Oh, I don't know if I would call it this early about this game being theirs. There's a lot of big squads, a lot of squads with big numbers. Still pose a major threat, but from the position they're putting himself at right now, they are the most controlling team in the lobby, and of course that gives them a huge advantage to get to that late game, to get to that chicken dinner. So we'll see. Loops, unfortunately, as you knew, was going to be a very shortly lived finish. Not much to really play from in that sort of position. But Nova, though, they're slowly but surely pushing themselves away from Church. We're going back and forth. A lot of actions currently unfolding. The elimination feed currently is lighting up. Nova did spawn in as a 3-man crew, which is why they're taking things slow, things passive. Because they know they don't want to take this early altercation, so Nova playing this one down to a T when it comes to spawning as 3 players. Oh. So, gets spotted away by BULUC CHABTAN. Assyrian Kid picking up 1, but not quite able to get the info on the other player of LOTUS. Well, they do. Okay.
And now down goes Tolt. There you go. Job done. I'm just keeping an eye on ESTORM. Genuinely, I'm really keeping an eye on ESTORM, and props to them. That compound breach has once again worked out as Furious Gaming went for a crash. It was a failed crash. ESTORM stay alive. They're still up as a 3-person team. 5 eliminations. 5 eliminations. Hell yes, ESTORM. Let's go. Let's go, ESTORM. I can get behind this. I can see this. I hope you guys can see this. I hope they can see that if you take the risk and you go just a little bit more aggressive, you can be rewarded.
Yeah, exactly. They took a risk that was going to be potentially really harsh on them. The fact it worked out, now they have the best potential position in this game, depending on where the next circle goes for phase 6. But right now, they are safe and sound. Though now even more action is going to be unfolding. Nova going to take the knee. A few players already going to get popped away. Nova now down to just, well, 0 players apparently. They're out of the game entirely. 7th place for them, still a pretty decent result, knowing they came in as a 3-man. INCO Gaming now still going for that 2-2 split, but they're putting their focus on the players that are in the Hilltop North and also onto the Hilltop West. And right now, with the circle where it goes, INCO Gaming have the control, they have the numbers advantage, and all other teams are going to have to fight one another to get in that position. Now more than ever, Imperium, this is INCO's game to win.
I called it a circle ago. Great spread, great reaction off the back of that previous phase shift. Using that dip to their advantage. BULUC is their target, at least if you're golden. As the second knock comes through, just 1 player left from BULUC. Black Dragons, though, we said we want to see some consistency in them. 3 eliminations into the top 4. I call that a result.
Black Dragon. Can we see a potential back-to-back happening here off the back of a Sandhawk win? We said we wanted to see this team step up, and they did it in big, big ways today for sure. Himself 2 really strong results, but closed off with a chicken dinner. We talked about momentum. We wanted to see from these guys, what better momentum could you offer than a back-to-back chicken dinner? Unfortunately, nothing. Next set, they're going to offer themselves a breach, the compound of ESTORM. ESTORM, they're waiting, nade in hand, making sure that this breach has no success.
Nice pre-nade from ESTORM. Here with the UMP, finds kill switch, gets the knock, gets the confirmation just like that. ESTORM continue to have the body advantage. This is, once again, good play from ESTORM.
Yep, and that's it for XSET. They got spotted away, and the teams that were high up, especially INCO, put the nail in the coffin for the team. Now ESTORM, their focus is to move up this hill position, and they've been holding onto their smokes after that breach for the longest time now, after pushing on Honored Souls. INCO Gaming, they're going to get busy real soon. Top 3 teams, Black Dragons versus INCO Gaming on the hilltop. There you go, it's about to go down. 4v3.
Oh.
Few shots coming out, and look at that off angle though. That's big.
Perfect.
That's huge from Becca. That is so worth the time you put to get in that position. Now, every single elimination should be super easy to confirm. 2 players are left for Black Dragon. He doesn't have the first aid kit. He cannot heal up. 1 bullet and he's done. But during that time, look at ESTORM going for the wide rotate. They know exactly what the weak spot is, but INCO Gaming are making sure they do not cower away from that fight. They're committing to both sides, making sure they defend. This is their circle. This is their game to lose. Any mistake now could result in huge, drastic consequences later on down the line. Oh, big nade. Looking for Ragnar. Very minimal information he's able to get from that type of position, but ESTORM are just waiting for the gunfight to really break out of the impression Imperium before actually going for the full-on push.
Yeah, I really love how ESTORM are playing this. Do worry, INCO maybe splitting their focus a little bit too much. Golden, he's left on his own.
Come on, Ragnar. You know you want to do it. You know you want to make this happen. You would show the comeback that's been made so far by Black Dragons. Good little bit of utility there.
Oh no!
Oh, that molly is huge. Gets in the car. Could that be worth it? He tries and turns his head back into the fight, but no. There's no way you survive the wrath of Ragnar. And now they are down to 2. 1 player out in the blue, potentially trying to commit to a heal off if he has enough first aid kits to secure 2nd place. But this was their game to win. And it just went down south in a matter of seconds. And now ESTORM have the man advantage, and they are pushing for victory.
However, it's not over yet. Kenby swings around. That's going to be the end of Black Dragons. Great effort. Top 3. Like I said, that will do. That will do, Max.
Whereas the UV22K, that's definitely a play one on your side for INCO to clutch it out in the 2v3. Above utility, Fear suffers a little bit of tick damage, but that's fine. He can brush it off. Second, okay, starting to be a little bit too much. You might want to stop that one. But VT2K, he's running about, making some really big noise audio cues. But Lewis has not really been alarmed by it, I have the impression. So he's able to get himself closer and closer. Coming now, the imposter. He's infiltrated. Inside enemy territory, pretty nice. Oh man, these finishes are getting more and more intense as days go on, I have the impression.
I love the wraparound by Ken. And I agree with the fact that INCO are just going for a 1-1 split. I really think it's the best way for them to get information, get angles, and hopefully create that distraction. Claim the chicken dinner.
Don't know what that was. Was that smoke? Was that Molly? Not too sure, but it was something. Oh, it was a Molly, okay. Never know. Got to be careful with how you use those at this stage of the game. If you do miss them, that's just going to give a lot of very vital information on where you're positioned. And you can look, peeking over the side. Romu, he knows where they are, but V2K, that's going to be the thorn in the side. He's going to be the one able to outplay it. Very similar to what we saw from V2K on the last Durango game, right? Maybe that's the play. Send one to sacrifice, take all the focus, and have V2K go for the wide flank. They're getting so close to one another now, Imperium. Hey. I'm a little bit scared for ESTORM. They're too close.
Circle does shift towards INCO. ESTORM have to move in.
They do. There you go. Some early sprays come out. Things are unlocking themselves. That's the engage. That's the 3-man push. But INCO knows he's not going to be able to win that one. Romu pushes his way back behind that tree to have a little bit of point of interest. Can he win the fight? Unfortunately, no. He's the first player to go down in his 5-way fight. Now it's down to 1. V2K gets the first. Can he switch over to the second? Get himself a little bit of damage. Both down to low HP. Are they going to get the first aid? Seems like that will be the case. He still has 1 first aid kit, so you want to buy the time. Get that first aid kit. The res will be able to come out.
What?
Okay, he peeks over. Oh, he's got the info. Got to reload. AKM, ammo. Every single bullet is going to count in this 1v3. 1 nade. If he had 1 nade Imperium right now, it would be huge. That's a great flashbang. And V2K has no idea what's happened to him. And he gets instantly spotted away. And ESTORM finally make it happen, Imperium. We asked for it after day 1, and they finally get their very first chicken dinner here of the Americas Elite League.
4 games, 4 days, 20 games it took for ESTORM to finally show us what they've got. Great defense on the compound. Great initial compound crash. I think it was on to Honored Souls, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. They defended against Furious Gaming. Defended against Dead, pushed up the hill. They were intelligent, still a little bit passive, even in the very, very final moments. Instead of going for the 1v2 push, going for the revive. You know, I know, like, they're playing ultra safe in that moment. They don't want to throw the win, but it's like, it's just, you know, it's like a leopard can never change their spots. It's like, just get rid of that extra little passiveness, but overall, very well done by ESTORM. It was a deserved chicken dinner from them.
I was starting to sweat bullets when I saw ESTORM get so close to one another, where 1 nade could have literally done damage to all 3 players. I was like, if there's 1 nade that's on the side of Influence Rage, of INCO Gaming, sorry, you are done. Luckily enough, that was not the case. All the utility was used initially by INCO Gaming to try and defend their position, so that was very lucky for ESTORM. You know what? They took control at the end and went for the push. Very good usage of the flashbang. We don't see flashbangs used enough, despite the buff that happened like a few patches ago now. Flashbangs are really good to try and create yourself a little bit of an advantage there. They pushed it out, had a little bit of an ample time to get the info. That is what you love to see. And you love to see ESTORM, as I said, finally having the step up that we've been asking for the longest time. Was their first 24-point performance here. Huge from ESTORM, but we want to see more.
We do indeed. Hopefully they can ride in tomorrow's games with a little bit more confidence. 9 elimination points, 15 for the placements, good balance. INCO Gaming, a great game, but I alluded to it. They spread themselves a little bit too thin. I got the idea around that push on the Black Dragons as a duo, but it should have been the 3-person team and leave VIVO 2K on his own to try and slow down ESTORM and then close out Black Dragons, the focus would have then been on ESTORM as a full squad. Instead, that 2-2 split, it just left too much to go wrong. That's exactly what happened to them.
Yeah, I personally love that split when it was in the mid game, but the later on you get into the game, you want to regroup. You want to have that man advantage. You want to be able to take those fights head on. And committing to a 2-2 split like that, you're making yourself very, very vulnerable. Sure, you get information and you can defend multiple positions at the same time, but you're also vulnerable compared to if you were staying at a 4-man and you gave more space to another team, you can make it work out. But you know what? Keep on arguing like that, but at the end, ESTORM did do what they were supposed to do and able to get himself that win. And INCO Gaming still got himself a second place, which is huge to see. And VT2K, I have the impression, Imperium, if we see a player of INCO Gaming do well, most of the time it's going to be VT2K. This guy is absolutely cracked.
Yeah, he is. He has not only the experience, but the kind of natural... That natural raw ability of just knowing where to be most of the time and just knowing how to play the intricate moments of it. And it shines so brightly in this America's Elite League for sure. Corillo, of course, of Alpha 7 traveling the furthest distance. I don't normally highlight it, but Alpha 7 just had a hell of a journey throughout this whole game. Unfortunately, you just couldn't really scale up that kind of Pachinki hill on the western side as easily as would have been if it hadn't have shifted so massively towards Pachinki. I think it was on phase 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it drop in Lipovka, they went for the wide rotates up north, and north is on that lib side. There's a lot of teams not going to be down to maybe 2-3 players, and you're just not going to be aware of their position as instantly picked up. I think there was BULUC CHABTAN, there was loops at one point. It did get a little bit tough on that northern side of the circle, so they tried, they played the game, and unfortunately it did not quite work out for them. But still, I'm really happy with today. Things did slow down a lot towards the end, but we had some great first 3 games that I would love to have something even remotely close to that on the next few days of the America's Elite League. Hopefully tomorrow, because definitely don't want to miss it. Tomorrow's going to be some great games. And now we are officially at the 50% mark. Imperium, I believe we're going to be having the overall rankings coming up very soon, which I cannot wait to see how things moved up, because compared to the start of the day, we have a few teams that were at the bottom. I'm especially looking at, ESTORM was that chicken dinner. I'm looking also at Black Dragon Esports. That have had the results and the step ups that we initially wanted from these guys, and I'm wondering if that was enough of a step up for them to make a huge dent in the rankings to jump up maybe 4, 5, 6 placements at the end.
Yeah, that's definitely a good question to ask, and I hope that's the case, and it would be a deserved growth. It's more about, though, with still 4 more days to go, it's still more about day-to-day evolution within themselves as a playstyle in terms of consistency, and and that's why it was so good to see that oomph from ESTORM in that final game, because it's like, yes, there you go, boom, carry that forward into the next days, so will then be rewarded. I kind of alluded to, when you are driving a car, let's say you're driving a race car around a racetrack, you don't focus on how fast you're going down the straight. You focus on the apex around the corner. When you hit the apex around the corner, you're going to be automatically faster in the whole lap. That's the way it is. So if you focus on the smaller parts of your gameplay, if you need to be more aggressive, be more aggressive. If you need to do more VOD review and rotate a little bit cleaner, rotate a little bit cleaner. That will then automatically benefit you in the overall.
Yeah, and that's from someone who's done you've done competitive racing, I believe. We'll see. But so far, the guys who are at the top of the race. Yeah, that's it. I knew it. That's how good I knew you, Imperium. But I know as a fact that VIVO Keen are absolutely shredding the competition to close off this 4th day of play for the America's Elite League. 208 points, standing strong above the rest. 10-point lead above Alpha 7 and a 12-point lead above Influence Rage. There's not a huge lead. No one good game from Alpha 7 or Influence Rage tomorrow. And VIVO Keen are going to drop out of that first place. But VIVO Keen as a team, once again, that I did not know going into this. I am genuinely surprised, and I'm happy to see these guys step up to the occasion and perform so well with the team and the lobby as stacked as it is today.
And I even want to put Rise less Nova, but they've hung on. No disrespect to Nova. But more, I need to put Rise up there. I genuinely do. Plus, it's only 48 points. With still 4 more days to go, 16 games. That's 2 good games out of those 16 games compared to 2 poor games. So 100% Rise deserve to be kind of mentioned as still contenders for winning this America's Elite League. INCO,
yeah,
a couple more cleanly executed games, maybe balance those elimination points and placement points, and yeah, they'll also be strong contenders. But outside of that, INTZ, they have a lot more to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have to bring a little bit more to the table. Teams that have brought a lot more to the table, though, talking about it earlier, at ESTORM and Black Dragon. Esports, ESTORM started off the day at 17th place with 55 points. Currently, they finish in 13th with 105, so they just doubled the amount of points they had total throughout the tournament in a single day of play. So that is a big step up from ESTORM, but we still want to see more. We want to see that momentum. Hopefully that's what they're going to do tomorrow. And then looking at Black Dragon Esports, that started off the day in 19th with 44 points, and they end off the day with 106 with 12th place coming their way. So also very similar to ESTORM, doubling their points in a single day of play. So love to see it, but we need to see consistency. Hopefully it was just not a one huge day and then they're going to go back to their old ways. We want to see them remain on top for the remainder of the tournament. Though, looking at our top kills of the day, the top player is going to be Rise from the... sorry, not Rise. No, Rise is a team. It's Mythic from Rise. And we said it, if Rise perform, Mythic typically most of the time is the one that's going to step up. And to no surprise, it is going to be the case once again today. It was 18 elimination in 4 games. That is an insane stat to see today.
I'm just a little bit sad that he isn't wearing glasses. Shame. It's a shame.
We'll have to ask
still,
tips to Adrian. Yeah.
There you go. But still, fantastic performance from Mythic, and overall the whole of Rise, because you know, for a lot of time for an individual player at times to stand out, the rest of the team needs to enable that, and I think the rest of the team has done a great job of enabling Mythic to be the rest of the player, to be that kind of standout player for a side. And when they're picking up the amount of eliminations he's doing so far, at least in today's games, keep it up.
Yeah. So we're about to close off the stream for today. So once again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out the broadcast. But Imperium, I have a question for you before we end the stream. Tomorrow, because we're still in the same week, do we call it week 2, day 3, or do we call it week 3, day 1?
Week 3, day 1.
Good answer. That's the way we're going to go about it. But yeah, it was going to be week 3, day 1 tomorrow. You definitely don't want to miss it out after seeing how many teams have been able to step up. It's going to be great to see how things are going to pan out. I've got a lot of teams that we'd like to see potentially make their ascension begin. The Chosen one of those, looking at Lotus Esports, Luke's to have a little bit of a slow start, even XSET for his gaming. So we want to see if they can make things happen towards the end there. A lot of things to be spotted out. As you said, we're at the 50% mark of the tournament currently, and we're going to have to end the show for today. But tomorrow is going to be, once again, the week 3, day 1, so definitely don't want to miss it. It's going to be same time, same place. See you next time.